Chapter 1. Bijou, otherwise known as tailed beasts. They are 9 titanic beasts given consciousness. They have so much chakra that we simply call them Chakura no Bakemono. Chakra monsters. These huge beasts possess red-colored chakra. Not to mention the ability to scare the shit out anyone with their killer intent, KI. With all these qualities, it has made humans fear them for their strength, hate them for their appearance, and seek after them because of their chakra, and the bragging rights of beating a bijou. But what happens when a beast with a conscious mind and a nasty bite is threatened and backed against a wall? They attack viciously, that's what. The problem with this response is that mankind is notorious for his stupidity, especially when it comes to understanding that he can't get away with oppression. As such, the stories of the demons from hell began. All because they stood up for themselves. They were treated like outcasts. Senseless demons that needed to be controlled and ruled by man. The bijous naturally started to hate man. However, the Kyuubi was the last to wish for man's demise. He really did not care for mankind in any way. He just enjoyed being left alone, and of course watching them try to capture or beat him was amusing. All he had to do was growl and shoot them a dose of his KI, and they immediately left him alone. The best part was that some of them run away screaming like a little girl. That was always funny. Well, that was until Madara showed up and used him as weapon, and the first Hokage shared him and his brothers and sisters like inanimate objects. And the straw that broke the camel's back was being sealed in a human and treated as a mass weapon of destruction by not 1 but 2 people. And after being used again by Madara, whom he did not even know was still alive, to fight a battle he didn't start nor care about. He was sealed again. The legendary beast had decided that aside from his father, mankind will never win his trust ever again. Well, that was until Konoha, 5 years after the Kyuubi's attack. It was dark. That's the first thing Naruto noticed when he opened his eyes. "Where am I?" thought the young blonde, who was trying to remember how he got here. My head, noticing the surroundings around him. There was a pool of water at his feet, and the place was badly lit, not to mention the pipes in the ceiling. It definitely looked similar. How did I end up in a sewer? Oh! Flashback. It was a chilly October afternoon, and the whole village was in a festive mood because today was the day that they remembered all the brave people that had fought to defend them 5 years ago. It was a bittersweet celebration for those who had lost loved ones on this day, because while it gave them a chance to honor their lost ones, it was also a strong reminder of the fact that they were dead and they were never coming back. And the reason for this was walking around the village. Naruto hated October 10th with a passion. He did not know when he started to realize how the villagers treated him. Maybe he always knew, but as far back as he could remember, the people always treated him like he was some kind of disease that they could not get rid of. And boy, have they tried to get rid of him. He noticed it in the orphanage first. The caregivers were always stricter with him than the other kids. The first indication that led to that realization was that while he did all the chores in the orphanage, for some reason he was served last. Throw in the fact that his plate was far smaller than the other kids, and even a dummy would know something is up. Being naive, he bought their explanation. The village is under repairs and the orphanage did not have enough food to go around. But that all changed the day he sneaked into the storeroom and saw just how much food they had in store. It was still manageable, at least he was fed and he got to play with his toys and stuff. Also, the head caregiver liked him and used to read him bedtime stories. She was also the one who taught him how to read and write. Even though he was a slow learner, she was patient with him. The kids in the orphanage didn't all like him, but still he did have some friends, so despite the fact that he was not being fed properly, he still liked it there. Well, that was until he turned 4 and the head caregiver left to go to the capital to attend to some business on the council's authority. In that same year, his friends got adopted by families and left as well, but it was okay too, because that was also the year that he met the Sandaime Hokage, who took him to Ikaraku's for his first ramen. That was a glorious day for the young blonde. Naruto ate so much ramen that day that he thought his stomach would explode, but another reason why he really liked the place was because of Tucci and Ayam. They were so nice to him. They reminded him of his caregiver who read him bedtime stories, and so despite the fact that his life in the orphanage was slowly taking a turn for the worst, he had his Gigi and Ikaraku's to look forward to, not to mention the ramen, so life was good. It took a bad turn earlier this year when he came back from spending a day at Ikaraku's. Gigi had told Tucci to allow him to eat as much as he wants and send the bill to him. So after spending some time in his favorite food spot and making the Sandaime question if he was in a kimchi, he came to the orphanage only to see his stuff outside. Confused, he picked them up and entered the orphanage to ask what was going on, only to have them kick him out, literally telling him that he was no longer welcome there. A week later, Gigi got him his apartment and he was once again happy. I mean, how many 4-year-olds had an apartment all to themselves? He had not met any, but the happiness was short-lived because the place quickly became too lonely for him. That was when he fully understood that the villagers hated him. They told their kids to never play with him and rewarded them for picking on him. Ikaraka's became his permanent spot this time. It was not just for the food but also because of the company. He also had his Gigi with him, so despite the fact that he was miserable and hurt that nobody liked him, he knew that there were 3 people that he could always count on no matter what. Then there is the issue of October 10th. Even when he was in the orphanage, October 10th was not a good day for him. He used to think that it was because it was his birthday, but over time he learned that they did not want him to be happy at all on that day. Thankfully, so far he had not been touched. The villagers had always ignored him completely, like he did not matter, so that was not new. But as he was walking to Ikaraku's for lunch, he felt like a rabbit passing through lion territory. He could practically feel them killing him slowly with their eyes as he walked, so he jogged and almost ran to Ikaraku's, and the entire time that he was there with his surrogate family, he could feel their ki at the back of his mind, and he was honestly very scared. When he left around 9 p.m. in the night, he noticed that everyone was busy, so he decided to think and try to imagine why he was treated the way that he was. Because nobody in the whole village, as far he knew, was treated like this. That thought brought to something that he thought of all the time: who his parents are. If they loved him, did they hate him just like the villagers did? Or did they do something before they died that was so terrible that he was suffering for now? Gigi had told him the day before that his parents died in the Kyuubi's attack 5 years ago, but aside from that he didn't tell him anything else. That was also partially why he came to the festivals as much as he could, to learn more about the Kyuubi attack. Otherwise he would have rather just stayed at home, but he wanted to see if Tucci knew anything about his parents. Unfortunately he did not. His train of thought on this was simple: since he was recognized so easily, then maybe his parents were popular too. As he was deep in thought, he did not notice where he was going and ended up knocking a cart over, pissing the owner off. "You damn brat, killing us was not enough, huh?" The shouting attracted a crowd. A very drunk and vengeful crowd, but that would have been okay if they just settled on glaring at him while he escaped, but somehow his movement angered them and one of them lunged at him as if to grab him, but he slipped under his arm and going in between his legs he ran away before they attacked him. He did not like the looks on their faces, and boy was he right, because the second he took off they chased after him, screaming demon the whole way through. A name that he had been called a lot of times. That of course was when fate decided to be extra bitchy and allowed them to corner him in an alley. Despite his pleading they pounced on him. Flashback end. "So they threw me into a sewer, huh?" The 5-year-old had not really let his terrible life affect his mood because he didn't still believe that this was happening to him. He had always thought it would end soon, like a nightmare he would soon wake up from, probably when he found his parents, but it hasn't. So all the bottled up emotions inside of him busted forth when he realized that it wasn't a dream but his real life. And the little boy broke down and wept. It was in the middle of his breakdown that he heard something. "Naruto. Who is that?" After hearing his name again, he decided to venture into the sewer to find who was calling his name. So wiping his eyes, he started to follow the sound of the voice calling his name. That sounds so creepy to Bayo. Meanwhile, the Uchiha clan is one of the 4 noble clans in Konohagakure no Sato and is reputed to be the most powerful clan in the village, producing shinobi that are exceptionally talented and battle-oriented, especially those in possession of the Sharingan. The famed bloodline limit that allows its user to read lips, predict the movement of their opponents, copy jutsu, and enhance genjutsu techniques. With all these strengths plus a drive to succeed no matter what, the Uchiha clan is rivaled by almost no one in respect and honor except the Senju clan. Well, that was until the Kyuubi struck and the villagers remembered that Uchiha Madara had at one time controlled the beast and used him for his own gain. The clan wasn't exactly loved by society, because even before the Kyuubi struck, the clan wasn't exactly people-oriented. The clan can be described as a clan of dicks, jerks, and assholes. In fact, the only clan that is worse than them emotionally is the Hyuga clan, who are just total pricks, although there is a debate as to whether they are closet perverts or not. But back to the Uchiha clan. Since their ejection from society, the clan has seen it fit to take every opportunity to prove that they are the best in the village. And there was one person who felt just what the clan will do to prove their superiority. Uchiha Itachi, the 10-year-old prodigy with a mind that can rival most jounin, knew that the clan was so focused on proving that they are the best that they forget that they are part of the village. They can't just expect everyone to bow to their every whim. And as far as he was concerned, if he was the best the clan has to offer just because he believes in hard work and the will of fire, then what does that say about them? Itachi sighed as he made his way to a part of the Naraka River where he trains in seclusion. Nobody in his clan knows where it is, so it is always empty. So who is crying then? The first shocker was nobody in his clan believed in showing emotions, considering them to be a sign of weakness, so there was no way it was a member of his clan. So the question is, who is it? The answer was a girl Itachi's age with purple hair tied in a pineapple style. Sensing someone behind her, Anko turned around to yell at the stupid villager who was probably here to give her crap just because she was Orochimaru's apprentice. What do you want? But it wasn't a villager. It was that prodigy everyone was talking about, Itari or something. She didn't like the way he was looking at her, like she was beneath him or something. So what do you say to a girl who's being crying? What are staring at, you think just because you're a prodigy you're better than me? Huh? Is that it? Huh? What? I thought she was crying, so why is she angry all of a sudden? It's not my fault I had an asshole for a sensei. It's not my fault. That's where things got really confusing for Itachi. Why, you ask? Simple. Anko started attacking him with everything she could reach. Kunai, shuriken, sunbon needle, fist, leg, stone, and hairpin, and that wasn't even the weirdest part. The weirdest was that she still had tears running down her face while looking like she wanted to rip him to shreds, and he hadn't said 2 words to her. Literally. 2 hours later, Itachi had successfully dodged and evaded everything Anko had thrown, and he definitely didn't need to train again, because if not for his Sharingan and very quick reflexes he would probably be in the ICU by now, because damn, that girl has got wicked aim. Anko, however, couldn't believe it. Nothing she threw worked. Nothing. Was that why Orochimaru discarded her? Because she was so worthless she couldn't even beat a boy her own age. Looking up, Anko noticed the utterly confused expression on Itachi's face. And dare she say it, it was hilarious. I mean, how many times do you see an Uchiha confused and so perplexed he can't even get the patented Uchiha cold gaze? Itachi was officially wigged out. First she's crying, then she gets angry and wants to kill me, and when she couldn't she goes back to crying, and now she's laughing? I wonder if this is why most books describe women as incredibly confusing people. You're not very socially experienced, are you? No. Both the answer and the face he was making was seriously funny. Like a confused weasel. It seems I found a new play toy. I'm Anko. Itachi. Well, I'll see you around, Itachi. With that she got up, winked at him and left. 5 minutes later Itachi was still asking himself, what the hell just happened? Meanwhile, in Naruto's mindscape, our young blonde was going into shock. He had followed the voice until he got to what looked like a bright ball of bluish energy, which knocked him out when he touched it. I mean, wouldn't you have touched it? When he woke up, he found 2 people next to him. Uzumaki Kushina, an ANBU captain, and Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage. But the real shocker was what they told him. You're my what? Sochi, we're your parents. Flashback. Ugh, why did I touch that ball? Thought Naruto, whose eyes were still adjusting. When they came into focus, however, he was shocked to see 2 people standing in front of him. The first one was so cool looking too. Blonde hair, sharp blue eyes, and an awesome coat over a ninja uniform. Naruto suddenly wished he looked so cool. The second one was so pretty and badass. Wavy red hair, dressed in an ANBU uniform. He knew about the ANBU since they followed the old man everywhere. That was also when he noticed that they were all in a whitish environment. So am I dead? Asked Naruto. Of course not, Tebane. Naruto was surprised. Someone else had his verbal tick. The kids at the orphanage always teased him for it. Hey, I say that, Tebeo, said Naruto. So who are you people? Well, Naruchan, you see, my name is Uzumaki Kushina, and that is Namikaze Minato, said Kushina. Naruto gaped. Hey, that's my last name, and wait a minute. Namikaze Minato is the Yondaime's name. Gigi told me that, Tebeo, so how are you him? Well, that is a long story, Naruto. Naruto finally remembered one more detail about the Yondaime Hokage. He is dead. This, of course, could only mean one thing. Ghost! Screamed Naruto. Minato deadpanned. Watching your son run in fear from you because he believed you to be a ghost was certainly something. Kushina, however, was having a good time laughing at Minato. But they needed to calm him down so that they could talk. Naruto, could you come here, please? Asked Minato. No way, and you can't make me Tabeo, said Naruto, who was still trying to find somewhere to hide. Minato's eye twitched once until an Oni mask grew behind him. Get over here now. And they say I'm scary, thought Kushina. Minato-kun may not get mad often, but heaven help the poor guy who makes him angry. Naruto sat down fast after seeing that. He was still scared, but something told him that this was the same place to be. Besides, ghosts are supposed to be ugly, and they weren't, so maybe they were good ghosts. But he was still scared though. Now he was seated. Minato and Kushina had to find a way to tell Naruto the truth about them. Kushina of course believed that the direct approach was the best way. Just rip the bandage off and take it from there. While Minato would have wanted to be gentler, his wife had a point. So here goes nothing. Naruto, we are your parents. Cricket chirps. Cricket chirps. Naruto first thought that they were joking, but when the punchline did not follow, his brain rebooted. Then began the incredible love story that would have registered a lot better if it was not coming out of the mouths of his dead parents. One of whom was the Yondaime. Flashback end. So I'm not dead? You haven't been listening to anything we've been saying, have you? Asked Kushina. Minato just smirked. Remind you of anyone? Kushina smiled sweetly to her husband. Would you mind repeating that, dear? Minato shook his head fearfully. I thought so. Naruto's head was still spinning, even when his mom, explained what really happened during the Kyuubi's attack. I mean, zombie Uchihas, Jinchurikis, death gods, a giant nine-tailed beast in my gut, my parents being a dead ANBU captain, and the Yondaime toad seal keys? Naturally, Naruto responded to all this information in a typical Naruto fashion. Oh yeah, I'm awesome, baby. Yep, just like his mother, thought Minato. Kushina decided to calm her hyperactive son down so that they could spend some time together before chakra runs out. And that wasn't easy, but she did, with the promise of hearing some awesome stories. 3 hours later. Naruto was having so much fun with his family. Family, now that wasn't a word he thought he would ever use in a positive light. In a span of a few hours, his birthday had gone from one of the worst days of his life to one of the most unbelievable. First he got chased and beat up by villagers on his birthday, then he somehow woke up in a sewer, which was creepy by the way. Next he got knocked out by a bright ball of energy, which, as he heard from his parents, was his central chakra core. This brings him to the real kicker of the day, his parents. For someone that has been despised for so long by people whom he had known all his life, finding out that his parents loved him and cared about him was the second best part of today. The first was finding out that he is the son of the Yondaime Hokage and an ANBU captain. How badass is that? Although he was a little downcast about them being dead, but I guess he couldn't have everything. But all good things come at a price, because aside from his parents being dead, he also has a bijou stuck in his gut, which puts him at the bottom of Konoha's social list, far below the dirt they walk on. Because unlike his mother and Mito-sama, the villagers are acutely aware of just what kind of damage the Kyuubi can inflict. This is especially after the citizens of the village witnessed the greatest death toll in history. But if there was one thing he had learned, it was to never give up, no matter what. And now he had 2 goals to achieve: become Hokage and destroy his mom's prank record. Oh yeah, that's going to be so much fun. The citizens of Konoha all shivered in their sleep. However, there was something he wanted to find out. But how do I convince them to let me do it? You are not paying attention to us at all, are you, Sochi? Yeah, Dad, of course. Really, so what was the warning I gave to you just now? Oh. Minato just smiled. He has the same attention span as his mother. Knowing what her husband was thinking, Kushina giggled, remembering a time when she was just as bad when it came to paying attention to anything. Kami, she drove her sensei up the wall with that attitude, but it was fun though. Your father was saying that you shouldn't tell anyone who your parents are yet, at least until you can protect yourself. Your father and I made a lot of enemies, and if they find out that we had a defenseless son together, they wouldn't hesitate to kill you or use you for their own gain. I hear you, Mom, but can I ask for something, please? Still not fully paying attention, they decided to leave it for now. Sure. Go ahead, Naruto-chan. Can I see the Kyuubi? Now that wasn't what Minato was expecting at all. Sochi, I don't think that's such a good. Yes, you can. What? Asked a very surprised Minato. You want to take our 5-year-old son to talk to the Kyuubi? Seriously, I know she can be impulsive at times, but what kind of reason would she have for doing that? Yes, Minato, our chakra is fading and sooner or later, he's going to see him. At least this way we can be there for their first meeting. Please Tuchan, I just need to confirm something. Fine, Minato sighed. Like I have a choice. I'm so going to regret this. Alright Naruchan, let's go. And the next thing he knew, he was back in the sewer and his mom was leading them deeper into it. Drip. 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 The QB no Yoko was slowly going insane. Why you ask? Simple, he had been hearing that same annoying dripping sound over and over again, and for someone with his hearing ability, it was the worst kind of torture. Evidence of this fact was that the giant menacing fox was currently banging his head against the bars of his cage, to either get out of the seal to destroy that damn leaking pipe or knock himself out, whichever came first. Kamisama, I preferred it in Kushina's cage. Hell, I take being controlled by Madara to this. At least then I can destroy something. By now the bijou had stopped banging his head against the cage and just sat on the floor with his eye twitching madly. This was the scene that Naruto and his parents found the great beast in. Ka-chan, is that normal? Kushina was just as confused as her son, no Sochi, at least as far as I know. Do you think we should maybe leave him alone and come back later, maybe in a few years? Asked Minato, hoping that they could leave cause the QB seemed especially pissed today. Unfortunately, the QB noticed he had visitors. Finally, you jailer. Yes, QB-san. Fix that damn leaking pipe now before I go crazy and decide to use you as an earbud. Ka-chan, you said that this place is my mindscape, right? Does that mean I can change it if I want? Well, I don't know, Sochi. Listen, Ninjen, I don't care what the place looks like. Just fix the twice-damned pipe. Knowing that his tenant was getting agitated, Naruto decided to change the mindscape. Who knows, he might become less hostile if he has a better living condition. So what kind of landscape should it be? After thinking about it, he decided to use the field he used to hide in when the caregivers got too strict or harsh, and threw in some great features too. So focusing really hard on what he wanted, Naruto started to slowly changing the mindscape. The first thing that went was the water, then the pipes, thank Kamisama, and then the roof. And slowly grass started to grow, followed by trees, mountains in the distance, a large ocean and a faint blue sky. And to top it all up, the cage holding the QB exploded. Instead, the seal was now on a bracelet on the bijou's right hand. Whoa, Sochi. This is amazing. Yeah, I love it, but why did you replace the cage with a bracelet? It was there for a reason, you know? I know, Dad, but the QB is already stuck, and he can't harm me thanks to the seal, so I didn't see any point keeping him in a cage. Naruto then turned to the QB. So what do you think, QB-san? Did I do good? That depends on why you did all this, Ninjen, and know that if you lie, I'll know. Oh, that's easy. I figured since we are stuck together, we might as well get along. It'll make this whole situation easier to deal with. You're not lying. Very well then, Kit, I accept. Now leave, I need to sleep. You got it, QB-san. Turning to his parents, he said, See, that wasn't so bad. Minato shook his head and smiled. Only you, Sochi. Only you. Kushina simply laughed, at least until her body started fading. Sochi, our chakra is almost up. What? Your mother's right, Naruto, we have to go now. But Kushina simply knelt down and hugged her son, crying with him. No matter what happens, know that your father and I love you, and no matter how tough life gets, never give up, okay? Listen to your mum, son. No matter how the villagers treat you, you're a hero and our son, and we're very proud of you. Wiping the tears from his eyes, Naruto said goodbye to his parents. I promise, Tuchan Ka-chan, I'll get them to see the real me, and I promise I'll be Hokage someday just like you, Tuchan. Kushina, however, being Kushina, decided to give some last-minute advice to a son. Make sure you find a nice girl with a lot of backbone, Naruchan. I want grandkids. Mom. His parents' laughter was the last thing he heard. Geez, why would she say that? I'm 5 for heaven's sake. Now how do I get out of here? Maybe if I concentrate hard enough, and it worked. After he left, the QB, who didn't fall asleep, replayed everything that happened. His only comment was, weird. Konoha's hospital. In the history of Konohagakure no Sato, one person was recognized for his outstanding mental prowess and his strength of character and will. He is the student, predecessor, and sensei of 6 S-rank ninjas, known and feared in the elemental nations. He is known worldwide as the Professor, the Sandaime Hokage of Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen. He is loved for his grandfatherly nature, respected for his wisdom and intelligence, and feared for his resilience and jutsu prowess. But at the moment, staring at the sleeping form of his surrogate grandson after he had been found in an alley earlier this morning, beaten and bloodied on what should be the happiest day of his young life, the legendary Kage felt useless, drained, and very, very old. Minato, I wonder what you think of the village you gave your life for. Would you still love it? Would you still treat me with the same respect you always did when you find out that I couldn't take care of your son? People look at the position of Hokage and see a knight in shining armor alongside the humor of watching him struggle with the headache of paperwork. But that was simply a front. The life of a Kage was filled with underground plots, black plots, assassinations, lies, deceit, cover-ups, and the worst thing about it was the need to keep all that and more from the public eye while promoting and maintaining the humane image of Konoha. Secrets, so many secrets, it truly was lonely at the top, and after everything he had been through, 2 wars, he was ready to give in and retire. But after Minato died, he had to take over the position of Hokage again. And there couldn't have been a worse time for that to happen. He had to take care of the whole aftershock of the Kyuubi's attack. Bury the bodies, including his wife, boost the villagers' morale to rebuild their village, reorganize the shinobi into workable units to prevent other villages, especially IWA, from finding any reason to attack them, and finally making sure that certain people didn't take advantage of the emptiness in the chain of command in any sector of the village. And after 5 years of sleepless nights, the village was still far from fixed. If anything, it was simply bandaged badly, just waiting for the right moment to burst wide open. I'm way too old for this shit. The problem is who in the world is going to take over. Kakashi is not interested. Tsunade hates the village, Jiraiya is too valuable outside the village, and Orochimaru is a missing nin. If only there was someone like Minato I could simply hand it over to them. If I play this right, it'll be like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Save Konoha and keep my promise to Minato. While the old Hokage was plotting, Naruto was coming to. Where am I? Opening his eyes, Naruto saw white. But when his eyes became focused, he noticed the white walls and environment. It became obvious that he was in a hospital. He also noticed that all his wounds were healed. Whoa. Sensing there was someone with him, he turned to see his GG with him. Hey GG, what's up? Pulled out from his thoughts, the Sandaime noticed that the young boy was awake, and he also noticed something else. His eyes looked different. Far more at peace with himself and determined. It seems I've missed a lot, but if my plans work out, I won't miss out on much of his life anymore. Are you okay, GG? You seem a little quiet. I'm okay, Naruto. So how are you feeling now? I feel okay, GG. I have something to tell you though. After getting an affirmative answer, Naruto then proceeded to tell the Hokage everything that happened in his mindscape, knowing full well that he could trust his GG not to tell anyone. That was quite the tale, Naruto. Quite the tale indeed. Well, since you're feeling better, I'll leave you alone. There are some things that I need to do, like find someone who could raise and prepare you for your very hard future as the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and Minato's son. I'll be right back. I have a feeling this is going to be a long conversation. Naruto felt that that was a weird conversation. Maybe all old people are like that. Hokage office. You sent for me, Sandaime-sama? Looking up from his mountain of paperwork, Hiruzen noticed his young ANBU captain Hitaki Kakashi. Now this conversation would have been something the old Hokage was looking forward to, if not for how Kakashi took the death of his sensei and his team altogether. This was about finding a suitable caretaker for Naruto, someone who could feed, protect, advise, and train the young Namikes. However, like all plans, this one has a massive flaw. Kakashi blames Naruto for every bad thing that has ever happened to him and hates that the bane of his existence resembles his sensei and carries his surrogate mother's last name. He doesn't know that Naruto is Minato and Kushina's son and the last known living legacy of both their clans, seeing as the Hokage didn't deem Kakashi mentally or emotionally fit to know that particular piece of information. That was the main reason he allowed him to join the ANBU in the first place. Not because he was a prodigy, but because the Sandaime hoped that a few years in the Black Ops would help him come out of his funk. But while he is one of the most promising shinobi in the system, the young Hitaki had become far more cold-hearted and logical than before Obito and Rin joined him and Minato on Team 7. The only good thing about the new Kakashi was that on all the missions he had been on, no matter how hard, he never left a man behind and at the same time completed the mission successfully. This was a problem in and of itself because one of these days he will fail to either bring his whole team alive or complete the mission successfully, and he may never recover from the emotional breakdown he will have. I just wish this arrangement works out for Naruto and dear Kami. I wish this will also do good to Kakashi, especially if Naruto inherited his father's heart. Well, there's no sense in waiting anymore, and if he refuses, I could always order him to do it. Have a seat, Kakashi. There's something I wish to talk to you about. Kakashi's mind was racing, trying to figure out what the Sandame wanted to discuss and how he should respond to it. He, after all, didn't expect to be summoned to the Sandame's office a day after the Kyuubi's festival. He always spent the week of the Kyuubi's attack doing two things: talking to his loved ones at the memorial stone and training to make sure he didn't lose anyone else. I hope this isn't about my mental state, because I'm not going for any stupid therapy, and I sure as hell don't have any time to waste talking to anybody who doesn't know anything about what I'm going through. The Sandame sensed where Kakashi's mind was going to. After all, while he allowed him to join the Black Ops group, he had had a lot of talks with him about seeing a therapist or at least talk to his friends. He couldn't count the number of times he had to tell Guy that Kakashi was busy on missions when the eccentric Jounin came looking for his rival. Relax, Kakashi, this has nothing to do with that. Then what is this about Hokage-sama? Taking a deep breath, Sarutobi got ready to upset the young ANBU captain, and if his information is correct, a whole lot more people. Kakashi, right now you are the most suited for a particular long-term S-rank mission that I need taken care of. It involves a high level of secrecy and caution. There is a very important asset that I need protected. May I ask of the details of this mission, Hokage-sama? And please tell me I won't have to be in physical contact with this child. And here comes the hard part. Actually, Kakashi, you and your team will have to be within physical contact of, and yes, you assumed correctly, the child.
Hokage-sama.
While it sounds like a request, it isn't, Kakashi. This child must be taken care of, loved, protected. Basically, Kakashi, I want you and your team to adopt him and treat him as your own. Now, Kakashi didn't like this whole arrangement one little bit. First of all, he joined the ANBU to get away from attachments, and second of all, he didn't have a childhood, being the son of the White Fang and in war, so now he's being told that he had to take care of some important child. Hokage-sama, I don't think I'm the best man for the job. What am I supposed to do with a child? His argument pleased the old Hokage a lot. You're already changing him, and you're not even here yet. I haven't seen Kakashi argue anything so emotionally in a long time. Usually he simply accepts it with a blank look. Perhaps this wouldn't be such a bad thing after all. Well, I do believe that everybody asks that very same question when faced with predicaments like this, and I know from experience that the best way to raise a child is always learnt while trying to do just that. That's not logical at all, Hokage-sama. That's the beauty of taking care of a child, Kakashi. There's nothing logical about it. It all balances on something that until just recently I had thought you lost. Heart. Great, more talk about my emotions and mental state. This is getting ridiculous. Fine, so would I still be given other missions? Kami knows if all I have to do from now is guard a child, I'll either go mad or leave the village. Of course, I can't have my best NBU squad getting soft, now can I? The Sandame knew that this was only the tip of the iceberg. When Kakashi finds out exactly who he is going to be protecting, all hell will break loose. Finding out that the person he despises the most is going to be his responsibility will not sit well at all with young man. But if there's one thing he had learnt from life, it was that things must first get worse before they can get better. Uzumaki Mito once told him, "Everything you go through in life has a reason behind it, a lesson to learn, an experience to pass on, something to add to wisdom, a test. But even though you feel like you haven't learned anything, learn this, in all things be patient." This was what she told him when he was saddled with the responsibility of being Hokage right after his sensei gave his life for him. And he had a feeling that after the hard times are past, Naruto will be the best thing for Kakashi and vice versa. So when do I get to meet this mystery kid? Soon. I just need you to sign his adoption paper, which will keep him from shrinking his duties. Then I'll inform the council about the development, and then when it is all settled, I'll take you to him. He must be pretty important for you to inform the council about him. Yes, he is, and Kakashi, there is a reason this is such a high-profile mission. Once you sign the adoption paper, you'll have 50% authority over the child, while I'll retain the other 50%. But there are some people on the council who would do anything to ensure that they have complete control over him. You must protect him at all costs. Thankfully, most of the damage from the Kyuubi's attack has been taken care of, and therefore I will have time to protect you from anyone who tries to harm you in any way. I understand, Hokage-sama. Good, here, sign these. When the documents were signed, The Sandaime instructed Kakashi to go and inform his team of the new mission and resume to his office first thing in the morning to find out exactly who they will be guarding. While he waited for the council to assemble, dear Kami-sama, grant me the strength not to kill all of them. Looking out of his window to the first Hokage's head, he thought, of all the ideas and decisions you made, forming a village council was your worst one. Kami, if Kushina was made Hokage, instead of the calm, understanding Minato, she would have eliminated the entire village council her first month in office. The thought of how that meeting would have gone amused Sarutobi to no end. Hokage-sama, the council decided to convene tomorrow. I see very well then, thank you. The next day. Konoha Hospital. You have a broken rib, dislocated wrist, and a mild concussion, said the doctor with a very cold voice, almost as if wishing the list was longer. Could you show just a tiny bit of concern for my friend who got attacked? Your friend is fine, and quite frankly, she should leave. She's taking up bed space for other more important cases. Like whom, you stupid son of? Let it go, Nai-chan, thanks doc. Whatever, just hurry up and leave before I call security. Mitarashi, said the doctor with disdain before leaving. Kurenai wasn't pleased one little bit. Her friend had been attacked by a chunin who was trying to avenge his sibling who had died as a result of the cursed seal of heaven, thinking that Anko was somehow responsible for it. Thankfully, she got there before any serious damage was inflicted on her. You should have let me show that asshole exactly who he's messing with. To what end? He'd simply inform his friends that the snake whore has corrupted one of the citizens of the village into being her loyal subject. Anko. The best thing to do is just ignore them. Sides with everything that has gone wrong in my life, maybe I deserve it. That comment earned her a slap from a furious Kurenai. How dare you, the mark on your neck alone proves just how strong you are. Out of 10 people you survived. And not only that, you train, eat, and operate like a normal person despite having an unstable chakra pocket in your neck. How many people can do that, huh? I will not let you give up on yourself just because of the opinion of people who can't handle you. Anko was pretty much in shock. She had never seen her friend like this. But come to think of it, what the hell is wrong with her anyway? Since when did she start allowing the opinion of anyone define who she is? I mean, yeah, the person she loved and looked up to the most wounded her, erased her memory, reduced her age to that of a 10-year-old and abandoned her, but she could sit here and feel sorry for herself, or she could show the bastard exactly what happens when you mess with fire. Thanks, Nai-chan. I needed that. No problem. What are friends for? Now would you tell me about what happened the other day, or do I have to force it out of you? I don't know what you're talking about, Nai-chan, said Anko innocently. Oh, don't play dumb with me, Ko-chan. You know exactly what I'm talking, but if you need me to refresh your memory, fine. Yesterday you were distraught because of the way the villagers had treated you. I remember you running off into the woods sad and depressed. Then the next time I saw you, not only were you not sad anymore, you were smiling, quite happily in fact, and any time I ask what happened you get the knowing smirk on your face, like right now for instance. And wasn't that the truth? 'Cause Anko was indeed smirking as she remembered her personal play toy. You met someone, didn't you? Maybe, Anko sang with a fox-like grin on her face. Well, spit it out, you little witch, the suspense is killing me. Who did you meet? Trust me, Nai-chan, if I tell who I met and what happened, suspense won't be the thing killing you, it'll be laughter. Tell me. And with a wide grin, Anko told her best friend everything that happened that day. Kurenai couldn't breathe. After hearing all her BFF had to say, she remained silent for about 2 seconds before she fell on the ground laughing her ass off. I can't believe this. Ha 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 ha, dear Kami, my ribs. Anko also joined her friend, but she could only giggle, cracked rib and all. Man, I can't imagine the look on those stuck-up fools if they ever hear about this. Anko then started imagining a red-faced Uchiha clan elder trying to explain in the trademark Uchiha tone of superiority why their most promising clan member, their heir, couldn't handle a 10-year-old girl. It was hilarious. After a few minutes had passed, Kurenai managed to compose herself and ask something that she sensed during the conversion. You like him, don't you? Say what? Hell no way. Oh, so you wouldn't mind sharing your play toy then? Well, no. Oh, and why is that? 'Cause he's my play toy and I want to have the pleasure of driving him crazy. You say that with such a gleeful look on your face that I don't know whether to pity him or grab a popcorn every time you're with your toy. Anko simply smiles sweetly while elsewhere Itachi feels a shiver run down his spine. As a matter of fact, the moment I feel better I'm going to track him down. I have a feeling that my aim will become a lot better by attempting to cut him into a million tiny pieces," said Anko with a sadistic grin on her face. Kurenai simply prayed that the kid is as tough as people say he is. Because while Anko is not Orochimaru, she was his favorite student, and Kami helped the poor soul that catches her interest. "Wait for me, my precious toy, I'm coming for you soon." "I guess it true then, you can't live with the devil willingly without becoming a demon yourself," thought Kurenai, hoping and praying that Anko doesn't take this too far, cause while it's okay to be obsessed over a thing every now and then, possessive actually, it shouldn't go over the bar because then it can become dangerous. Meanwhile, Konoha's council room. Whoever said that counting to 10 helps calm the temper must have either been drunk or stupid, cause it definitely isn't working for me, thought the Sandaime. This was the flow of things since he said that Naruto was going to be adopted by Hitaki Kakashi. This is an outrage. Why would you give our most powerful asset to that child? With all due respect, Hokage-sama, I wanted to adopt the child, and now you hand him to an unstable ANBU. Hokage-sama, how dare you hand that demon to an ANBU captain? What if it gets stronger and kills us all? Hokage-sama, I Fugaku Uchiha insist that the thing be returned to its rightful place. On the street. Hokage-sama, if I may be so bold as to ask if you're going senile, the weapon belongs with me. For the benefit of Konoha, that weapon must be used properly, you old fool. 3 guesses who? It was driving the old Hokage crazy. Right now he was already coming up with a cover story to explain the death of the whole council. If I call Emma, not too obvious, some of them might escape, and using weapons won't be effective enough. I could probably use a katanjutsu, yes, if I make a big enough one, then quickly use my speed and kunai, I'm sure I can kill all of them. Then I'll just blame it on a seal tag that was placed here by an unknown assailant. No one would question it since Fuinjutsu is largely unknown. He was halfway through the hand signs when he noticed the whole room was not only quiet but everyone was staring at him like he had grown a second head. It appears that while he was deep in thought he was leaking Ki and it was freaking everybody out. Also apparently his hand seal movements coupled with a murderous look on his face was scaring the shit out everyone, but weirdly it was pleasing Danzo. I better get this whole situation under control before they regain their mind and start blabbing again. It's a shame though, all my problems would have been over by now. Oh well. I'm only going to say this once, so listen clearly. This council was created to advise the Hokage, so it is my choice to take your advice or to reject it, and right now I'm rejecting it. Naruto is under my protection and I choose Kakashi to watch over the boy because I felt he is the best person for the job. Maybe if you grow some sense I might tell you why. Danzo, that boy is not a weapon and he is officially and unofficially under my protection. Touch one hair on his head and you'll answer to me. As for you Fugaku, keep your hands off the child. Everyone understands me? Considering he spoke with a murderous look on his face, no one could object, not out loud anyway. Good. Meeting dismissed. Later that day. How did this happen? Kakashi was stuck between screaming and indignation, asking someone pinch him or just go back to sleep and hope this nightmare is just a figment of his imagination. The ANBU captain, for all his intellect, could not fathom how the hell he got himself into this mess. The day had started off normally. He woke up at 5 a.m. from yet another nightmare. He went to the bathroom, brushed his teeth, took his bath and got dressed. And then he put his team together like the Hokage requested and informed them of the way things are going to be run from now on. Then of course it was off to the Hokage's office to find out the name of the kid that they will be in charge of. In his mind Kakashi was picturing a clan heir of one. The numerous clans in the elemental countries had been found and was now being raised by Konoha. He'll probably have his plate full with teachers, meetings and so on. If this is the case, then all the team will have to do is rotate guard posts around the boy's house, giving those not on duty time to themselves. He couldn't have been more wrong. Good morning Hokage-sama. Good morning team. I trust you're all prepared for your assignment? Hi. Very well then, yesterday I gave Kakashi a brief rundown of the mission details, but today I feel it's best to tell you exactly what this mission will entail, so that nobody will have any wrong assumptions about what's in stock here. The Sandaime asked them to sit since this might take a while. As I was saying, the child you'll be taking care of, like I'm sure you already know, is a very important asset to the village, but not a particularly liked one. As a matter of fact, most of your duties will involve protecting him from the villagers themselves. He'll be moved into a house later today where you all will be staying with him. Now, aside from being completely responsible for his day-to-day living and training, as he doesn't have anyone else, you'll also deal with him at ease, meaning no ANBU masks, no codenames, nothing, and I'll be checking in occasionally to make sure you're living up to the expectations placed on you. And as if taking care of a kid possibly 24/7 and being judged and punished if you do it wrong wasn't bad enough. The name of the child you'll be taking care of is Uzumaki Naruto. This day couldn't possibly get any worse. Unfortunately, life loves Murphy's Law. Oh, and if something happens to the boy staring at Kakashi, it's coming out of all your pays, and you will be demoted depending on what that thing is. Fuck me. There is no way I'm taking care of the beast that took everything from me. I may not be able to touch him, but I can sure as hell ignore his existence, and I know a clan that'll be willing to punish him. Yes, Hokage-sama, you may have me blocked, but I will have my revenge. I swear. Meanwhile, Kami-sama, how does this monkey get himself into messes like this? Thought the QB. This particular mess started ironically like all mess starts with choosing to do something that should be relatively simple. I'm hungry. That was the statement made by Naruto after being stuck in a hospital for 2 days and eating what he suspected to be poison, seeing as it always gave him a tummy ache. He decided to go out and eat after all. His GG still hasn't returned, and besides, what's the worst that can happen? Famous last words, yeah. Flashback. Okay, all I have to do is get out of here, then go to Ikaraku's for some hot steaming ramen. Tabeo, practically drooling, he made his way to the door when a stray breeze reminded him of the fact that he only had the gown the hospital put him in as a covering for his birthday suit. Oh man, there's no way I'm going out like this. There has got to be a shirt or something in here. Unfortunately for the hungry blonde, there wasn't a clothing in sight, not even underwear. Great, now what do I do? Unless... Naruto then remembered that all the people and staff in the hospital seemed to have the same clothing, which also implies that they must come from somewhere, and that was probably also the place where they kept their patients' clothes before dressing them in these robes. So all he had to do was find that place and pick something his size. Now, while he couldn't go outside the hospital dressed like this, it won't make any difference in here. Besides, how hard can that be? Very, very hard. Naruto was hopelessly lost. While he had been in the hospital a couple of times before, he always left with his GG, and unfortunately for him, he never really paid attention to the different halls and stairs in the hospital. As a matter of fact, he used to think that they all looked alike, so there was no point paying attention to some boring white walls. Big mistake. Now what? How am I supposed to find that clothing area in here? It's not like I can just ask around. With the way people treat me, they'd probably think I want to infect their clothes or something. I have to find that place on my own. Due to the state of Naruto's mind, he wasn't paying attention to where he was going and so bumped into someone he really shouldn't have, the doctor in charge of taking care of him. What are you doing out, you little demon? Trying to attack the poor babies in the infirmary? Did I forget to mention that he also hated Naruto? Well, he does. Sorry, gotta run. Hey, get back here. Stop that demon, he plans on killing the babies. Oh man, Naruto noticed a small opening inside one of the walls. Not entirely sure what it was, he reasoned that it would be a safe place to hide from the growing mob coming for him. I thought hospitals were supposed to make you feel better and not inflict pain or stress on their patients. Quickly, he jumped into the shaft-like door and immediately noticed that it had some sort of slide that went far down. Where did he go? Check the laundry chute. What's a laundry chute? Fortunately, Naruto heard the footsteps approaching his hiding spot and decided that whatever's down there can't be worse than what's up here, and so he jumped down the chute. There's nobody there. Spread out and find him before he carries out whatever demonic plans he has. Woohoo, man, that was fun. Thank God there was a pile of clothes here to break my fall. Wait, clothes? Yes, I found the clothing area. Knew I could do it now. I just need to find something my size that shouldn't be too hard. A few minutes later. I hate this. Naruto had searched the entire room and the only thing he could find that wasn't a hospital gown, bed sheets, curtains, dirty clothes, or oversized wares was a girl's dress. A pink top and a white skirt. This day can't get any worse. On a normal day, Naruto wouldn't wear this, but he was starving and there was no way he could find his way back to his room and expect to be fed. Not after being accused of trying to kill babies. And so the young Jinchuriki put on the clothes. Well, at least the worst is over now. Ichiraka, here I come. But first I need to get out here. And boy, that was easier said than done. Firstly, he had to find a pair of shoes, cause there is no way he was going out barefooted. When that was done, he found a door and decided to get this embarrassment over with. Unluckily for Naruto, fate wasn't quite done being a bitch to him yet, because once he got topside, the mob was standing right in front of him. Oh man, he thought he could pass by them. After all, the last time they had seen him, he was in a hospital gown, not in female clothes. Where did that little demon go? Just a few feet more, then I'm free. Please, please let me be free. Hey, that girl, her hair. It looks weird. Sweetie, hold up, why is your hair like that? In panic, Naruto turned around, causing the female nurse to gasp at the obvious whisker-like marks on his cheeks. It's the demon. Of course, acting like the fox you are. Well, you won't get away this time, demon. Get him. Today was supposed to be simple. Naruto took off using his size to get him through the obstacles the adults would have to slow down to avoid until he caught a lucky break. Thanked Kami-sama the exit. He ran like a man possessed towards the door, and he didn't stop running until he was well past it into the busy crowd. Lost them. Breathing heavily, the young blonde rested against an alley wall. When he felt better, he decided to make sure what happened before didn't happen again. I may not have enough control or practice for a full body henge, but I can manage a facial one. That way nobody will know it's me. Henge no jutsu. Thankfully it worked well enough. Now to get to Ichiraku for a bowl of steaming ramen finally. Naruto hurriedly made his way to his favorite restaurant, passing through the alleys and parks and other to avoid drawing attention to himself. Unfortunately for him, fate and a sadistic author was not on his side today. Katara, there you are. We heard you were in the hospital. What happened? Said a blonde girl about Naruto's age wearing a purple dress. She was with two other girls, one dark-haired girl and another blonde like her, and from the looks of it, they knew who he was. Great, just what I don't need right now. Earth to Katara, did you hear what I just said? Yeah, I got released from the hospital. Are you sure you're okay, Kat? You're acting weird. Oh man, how do I get myself into these messes? Convinced there was something wrong with their friend, the group of girls decided to drag him to their spot in the playground and proceed to ask a whole bunch of questions that he didn't even know how to answer, and it caused them to be even more suspicious. On a normal day, being in the middle of a group of kids his age would have been the best thing that has ever happened to him, but today he was hungry, tired and stressed out, and frankly this interview was starting to annoy him. You're not even paying attention to us, Kat. Did something happen? 'Cause you were really starting to worry us. I'm not Katara. This was where things got seriously awkward. Guys, who's this and why does she look like me and is she wearing my clothes? Kat. But if you're Kat, then who is? Where did she go? Fortunately, Naruto had enough sense to bail immediately. Thank God that's over with. Boy, I can't wait. Ikaraku's is right around the corner. Flashback end. Turning the corner, Naruto bumped into a chunin, and it wasn't just any chunin, it was one of those people that had sent him to the hospital just 2 days ago, and to top it off, the bump caused Naruto to lose his focus and drop the henge. Kami-sama, all I ever wanted was a bowl of ramen. That was all I asked for, one bowl of ramen. This was the thought going through the young blonde's head as he ran away from yet another mob. Meanwhile, the Kyuubi simply shook its head at the kind of luck this monkey possessed. The Sandaime couldn't introduce the team to Naruto as he couldn't find him, so he sent the team home, unfortunately giving Kakashi the time and space he needed to plot his revenge. Chapter 2. Later that day. Grrr. I know, tummy, I know. Naruto sighed heavily. Today has been one of the most frustrating days of his life. Ever since he woke up, he had had one thought. Ramen, and yet bringing that dream into reality had been an impossible job. I can't play with kids my age because their parents hate me. I can't have a family because of some wacko who couldn't take a hint. I can't have any nice stuff or go to nice places because I apparently don't deserve it, and now I can't have my favorite food. Worse, I'm dressing in girls' clothes. God, this is the worst day ever. The hungry blonde was currently in the outskirts of the village, having just escaped the mob that was chasing after him. At this point, Naruto was considering stealing again just so he could eat. He didn't like taking what wasn't his own, but he was hungry and he wasn't strong enough to tough it out. He had no idea when he would eat next, and death by hunger didn't sound inviting at all. The question was what restaurant he would steal from. Most of the ones he liked had upped their security for their foods. Naruto couldn't help the sardonic laugh that escaped him when he thought of his current reputation in the village. A demon fox with the ability to destroy the village yet can't seem to feed or clothe himself. Ridiculous. He was considering exactly what place he would steal when he remembered the promise he made to his parents about making sure to show the village the real him and one day become Hokage. Before meeting them, stealing for food would have been okay, but if he really wanted to change and show this change, he needed to actually change, which meant no stealing no matter what. Kami-sama, I don't know what to do now. I know the path I've chosen is going to be incredibly difficult and I'm going to do a lot of bad things, but please, for the sake of my parents who have given up so much for me, keep my integrity intact, starting with giving me something to eat now. I promise I won't be picky. About half an hour later, he started to hear laughter. Walking carefully in that direction, he noticed a girl and a boy, probably her brother or something if their looks were anything to go by. They looked about 3 or so years older than him. They seemed to be having a lot of fun playing together. Naruto felt an old question in his heart raise its ugly head. Why do they get to be so happy and he couldn't? I can't think like that now, nothing good ever comes from it. I can be better, I know I can. Is there a reason you're watching my grandkids, little one? Holy ramen, don't do that, Tabeo. Naruto thought he had died for a second there, looking up to see who had scared his heart out of him. He noticed an old lady with gray hair tied in a single ponytail with 2 bands framing her face. She was wearing a blue kimono with black sandals. She actually looked pretty beautiful. Unfortunately for Naruto, he was too busy focusing on observing the person who scared him that he forgot 2 things. One was he screamed loud enough to draw the kids' attention to him, and 2, he was still wearing female clothes, and the old lady who would have saved him the embarrassment was too busy trying to see why he looked so familiar. Of course, the village Jinchuriki. I wonder why he's putting on female clothes, though. Grandma, who's this girl that you're talking to? Was she the one who screamed? Oh man, can this day get any worse? Oh Suki dear, he's not a girl. He's a boy who apparently doesn't have any clothes of his own. Wait a second, what kind of boy wears girl clothes? Hush Sokka. Look, you're scaring him off. Naruto-kun, why don't you come with us? I'm sure there are some of Sokka's clothes you can wear. Come on. The fact that she knew his name means that she knew exactly who he was, and yet instead of turning him away or giving him the evil eye, she actually wants him to come into her home. I guess dreams do come through. Like all grandmothers, Carrie didn't do things halfway. She took Naruto to the guest room in the house, had him take a shower, brought clothes for him to wear. A blue shirt with an orange sleeveless hood, a white shorts, and black sandals. Wow, you look absolutely precious. Since it was just them in the room alone, Naruto felt he needed to talk to her. Why are you doing this? You know who I am, so why are you being nice to me? I see you know what really happened all those years ago. Well, I am not going to judge you the way the village does. I think you've suffered enough, and I think it's time you had someone in your corner supporting you. You can stay here all you want. Naruto's tummy thought now was a safe enough time to reveal its needs. Looks like you're starving. Come on, let's get you something to eat. After making sure Naruto had eaten, and the kids were properly introduced, Carrie left them to their devices and decided to visit a certain old friend and get some things straightened out. Hokage-sama, Ms. Carrie is here to see you. Should I let her in? Yes, of course. Now that's a name that brings back memories. So how's the life of Hokage going these days? Well, it hasn't been easy, that much I can tell you. Sometimes I almost want to grab the next person I see and hand the hat over to them. Well, you are too old for this job anyway, old friend. Okay, what's wrong? Your tone indicates trouble? You would never believe who I ran into today. Starving in both body and mind. Let me guess, you're talking about Naruto. Would you care to explain why such a high-profile asset is being led down the road that had turned lesser men into monsters? And what exactly are you doing about it? I think we're going to need some tea. This is going to be a long one. So let me get this straight. After all this boy has been through, nearly killed and meeting his parents, trusting you to look out for him, your bright idea is to hand him over to a walking time bomb who would gladly kill him under the hope that Naruto can change him. Sarutobi, I'm going to kill you. How many times have I told you that Kakashi would only change when he wants to and not before? Moreover, it is the height of stupidity to think that putting 2 damaged people together, one with intent to kill, will end like a fairy tale. Are you kidding me? I know, but with the situation in the village right now, this was the best I could do. You know exactly what the council is like right now. Carrie didn't like it, but he was right. Given the circumstances right now, the arrangement was a long shot, but the only shot the kid had at being safe, but it wasn't good enough. You're right, you're the Hokage, so there's a level of partiality that you can show before vultures like Danzo start to publicly question your ability to rule. But while there's no way we can adopt him, nothing says we can't keep him safe and protected if he happens to find his way to us. And as for Kakashi, training him, no problem, but he'll have to do it at my estate. Think you can swing that to the council? Yes, I can. Thank you, Carrie, you've always been a lifesaver. Well, if I don't take care of you, Hiruzen, who will? This made the friends smile. Have lunch with me, Carrie. I've missed this talks. Well, my schedule's a little tight, but okay, fine, I'm sure I have a few minutes, she said slyly. It took about 3 days before everything was settled with the council, and let's just say Kakashi wasn't happy for the intrusion in his plans, and he wasn't the only one who didn't like it. The demon brat has gotten Kari-Suzen to protect him now. What are we going to do, Fugaku-sama? We wait. Sooner rather than later, the brat will move away from the people around him. When that happens, our man on the inside will bring him to us, and then we will make him pay, after which we'll finally return to our position of power in the village. Are you sure that you can trust Kakashi to deliver? If he fails, we will simply add him to our list of targets that must be eliminated on our rise to total power in the village. Elsewhere. Danzo, it seems Sarutobi is far more cunning than we give him credit for. Aligning himself with Carrie is truly a brilliant plan. No matter what that old fool does, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki will be mine to control. All we need is someone to break up the connection the weapon has to the Suzan clan, then he will bring him to me and I will train and condition him to be the perfect weapon. Meanwhile, Anko was bored, and anybody who knew her knew that a bored Anko is equal to disaster. Simply because she'll find a way to entertain herself, and you do not want to be there when she does. God, this is hopeless. I can't believe I'm reduced to counting ceilings all day. Why the hell did Kurenai have to go on a mission and leave me with nothing to do? Now, am I supposed to entertain myself? It's not like I have a play toy or something. I mean, if I was allowed to work for the IT department, then the screams would at least keep me entertained. And hopefully I get to torture some cuckoo. She then of course laid in bed smiling at all the people she would get to break, and best of all, nobody would accuse her of anything. Heck, they'd even pay her to entertain herself. God, I wish I had someone to torment right now. Wait a minute. Jerking off the bed, she suddenly remembered that she did have a new play toy. Time for some fun. Itachi, on the other hand, was not happy. In fact, he was actually pissed off, which was rare for him since he is practically known for his composed personality, but not today. This was emphasized by the fact that he was currently attacking a tree in his secret training area using taijutsu. The reason for his bad mood can be traced back to what happened earlier today. Flashback. You sent for me, father? Yes, I did. Sit down, there is something that I require of you. Itachi did not like where this was heading, especially since he knew that his father had been in meetings with the elders of the clan, and they had been pushing him to train harder than usual. You made the clan proud by making Chunin, and now the village is looking at you, but making Chunin is poor for us. I want you to make ANBU by any means necessary, and this is not an option, do you understand me? May I ask why, father? I will let you know what I want you to know. But with that said, the clan has been ignored for far too long, and this village needs to be reminded just how powerful we are. Your duty is simply to get into the Hokage's inner circle and make sure to report anything of interest to me. And then when the time is right, you will help us remove that old fool from the picture, so that our clan will take over this pathetic village and rule it our way. Fugaku smiled sickly. We will also turn that demon into a memory, and finally Sasuke will come in handy. Itachi had a serious feeling that he won't like this. Sasuke is his pride and joy, and he loved him, and already he felt angry that after so long his father is finally realizing he has a second son. The man barely gave the boy any attention when all Sasuke wants is for his father to acknowledge that he exists. It was with that protective heart that he asked a question that he wished he never had. Father, if the demon is as dangerous as we suspect, then won't that put Sasuke in danger? Itachi, that brother of yours is pathetic and a disgrace to our clan. And if he can't protect himself, then that is not my problem. What I need that boy to do is give us a way to know where the demon would be at all times. He tends to play too much when he should be training, so since he loves to play, he can be the demon's plaything. And when the time is right, I will give him a chance to prove himself by having him kill the demon, but if he doesn't, then he will simply be one of the bodies that will be buried when we take over the village. Itachi could barely breathe. It wasn't what he said that made his blood boil, it was the manner in which he said it. Like his baby brother was of less value than a chess piece, and he could be tossed aside like trash. So before he ended his father's life, he decided to get out of there and go meet his mother. There is no way she would ever tolerate this. Excuse me, father, I have to go train. As expected, you may go. He nearly ran out of there. He made it thankfully to the kitchen before he started to leak killer intent. Mother will know what to do, and she has to. He met her in the kitchen drinking tea, and to be honest, he was just thinking of how to break the news to her since she obviously doesn't know what her husband was planning. That was when it happened. I know what your father was talking to you about, Itachi, and I certainly hope that you're on board with my plan. Wait, did you just say your plan? Yes, strong your father may be, he definitely does not have the cunning to take over a village. So everything was your idea, including how to take care of the demon. But of course, since Sasuke continues to prove too stupid to live up to his clan name, he might as well prove his worth doing something for us. This way we can put that childish heart to good use. At this point, Itachi's mind was blank. Excuse me, On his way leaving, he ran into his little brother. "Aniki, you promised you would come watch me train with my new bow and arrow." He looked so precious, so innocent, with such a big heart. Itachi decided he couldn't look at his brother right now, not with the anger burning inside of him. Sasuke deserved better than spending the afternoon with an angry brother. Maybe next time, Otudo. Flashback end. The tree was not sufficient anymore, not just because he had destroyed it but because it was not moving. Right now he needed a sparring partner, and he didn't know how to get one. Another reason why I hate the fact that I don't have any people who understand me and want to train with me. Damn, Tachi-chan, what did that tree do to you? That voice. Turning around, Itachi noticed the girl who he met here crying a week ago. What is she doing here? Anko, however, noticed the look in his eyes. Damn, he's pissed. She felt annoyed that she wasn't the one who got him that mad. Maybe I can help him out. Judging from his stance, he needs an outlet for his rage that can actually keep up. I was in the mood for a spar anyway. Oi, Tachi-chan, I need a sparring partner now. Well, move your ass, I don't have all day, you know. Show me what you got. I'm not in the mood for a spar right now, Mitarashi-san. The last thing I want to do is take out my anger on an innocent. Look, I may not know a lot of stuff about you, but if there is one thing that I know a lot about, it's anger. Trust me, you need to let off some steam. Besides, you're the only person my age that can actually keep up with me, so get in your stance. Focus on what's pissing you off and keep up. Seeing that she wasn't going to go away, he decided to go with it. It will just be for a few minutes. I really do need to blow off some steam after all. A few minutes turned into 4 hours of hard training that left both combatants sore, bleeding, exhausted, and yet strangely satisfied. Itachi learnt that Anko fought like a snake. Misleading, slippery, and quick on her feet, not to mention the snake-related jutsu she had at her disposal. She was also very good at using weapons, especially kunai. He couldn't count how many times he nearly got sliced if not for his Sharingan. She was also very unpredictable. It was refreshing. And he was not the only one who noticed things in his opponent's fighting style. You fight like a stiff. What are you talking about? They were currently resting on a large tree enjoying the evening breeze. I mean, you take into consideration every little detail, planning, replanning. It's like you create this perfect fight in your head that requires you to use every ounce of energy or time perfectly. And that's a bad thing. Exhausting myself in the middle of a fight isn't ideal for shinobi in battle. Every ounce of energy and chakra counts. Passion. What? Your fighting style is great and all, but it lacks fire, passion. It's like fighting a block of ice. I see. God, you're so adorable when you're confused. Look, all I'm saying is that you need to stop fighting from your head and start fighting with your heart. Trust me on this, it makes a spar or a battle enjoyable. Enjoyable? I really actually don't like fighting, to be honest. Yeah, I noticed that, but you're a shinobi, get used to it. This way you can actually be fun to be around. Life is bleak enough to kill. Don't make it worse than it is, laugh, and be passionate. Trust me, it'll save you from dying young and alone. And with that, Anko left, leaving Itachi with a lot to think about. His clan praised control and power, but Anko was able to match him, and yet she was everything his clan stood against, just like Sasuke. That made him realizes that it was time to break away from traditions and be the person he is on the inside, and if his clan didn't like it, then that was their problem. The thought of rebelling against his father was terrifying and exciting at the same time. And I know just where to start. It's time I stop keeping my brother at arm's length, and there's no way I am allowing him to be mixed up in my parents' plans. I need to protect my brother by myself. Advancing in rank be damned. With that thought in mind, Itachi made his way back to his house and hopefully a new life with his brother. The next day, Sasuke was having the time of his life. This morning he woke up expecting the same thing that happens whenever his brother goes on a mission. Get up, get dressed, have an awkward breakfast with his father ignoring him and his mother being cold to him. After breakfast he would have his sessions with his teachers, attend the academy. When he was done with that, he would stay at the back of the house and train to get stronger, only to come back to the same atmosphere during dinner and fall asleep hoping that his brother would be there when he woke up. On weekends it only got worse because he was stuck in the house doing nothing, and today was a weekend. However, today was different. His brother had been the one who woke him up, and then he told him that they were going to train today after breakfast. He nearly choked on his breakfast a couple of times because of how fast he was eating. He knew that his brother was very important to the clan and that he could be called away at any time, especially by his father, but just maybe if he paid very close attention to what his brother would teach him, he could finally make his clan proud and stop being the other son and be recognized as a true Uchiha. And as if his day couldn't get any better, his brother took him to one of the training grounds in the village without telling anyone that they were going out, which means that until they came back no one would disturb their day together by calling his Aniki to attend to some silly clan meeting. He had his brother with him for a whole day and he was not about to let something as stupid as a clan meeting disturb that. However, he was curious as to what exactly his brother was going to teach him. Since he was just 5 years old, his teachers always said he was too young to learn anything too complicated. Bah, what did they know? Finally they arrived. So what are we going to learn today, Aniki? Flicking his forehead, Itachi smiled at his brother's eagerness to learn. He really is the best one out of all of us, and it is high time I showed him that. Patience, Otuto, I will tell you if you calm down. Good, so I know from your teachers that you've learnt how to use your chakra. Correct. Hi. I'm proud of you, Sasuke. Not everyone knows how to use chakra at your age. Sasuke was already on cloud 9 before. That's why I'm going to teach you the clan's grand fireball jutsu. Every kid in the clan knew exactly what that particular technique implied. It meant that you're no longer a child and you're well on your way to becoming a respected member of the clan. It meant that people would start treating you with respect, and best of all, not only do you get to go outside the clan compound, you are then permitted to wear the Uchiha clan crest on your back. His brother had learnt and mastered that technique by the time he was 5, and if he does the same then there was no way that his parents would not love him. But what really made all the difference was that his beloved brother was teaching it to him. Itachi never behaved like the rest of the clan. He always treated him differently, and he always made sure that he was well taken care of and properly trained and respected. All this was definitely the reason why his eyes welled up with tears, that at least one person knew him and loved him, and Sasuke will never do anything to make his brother's efforts seem useless. Above everyone, the one person he really looked up to was Itachi. You really would do that, Aniki? Damn you, father. Damn you and every member of this cursed clan for doing this to him. Putting his hand on his little brother's head, he said, I believe in you, Sasuke, and yes, I'm going to teach the technique to you. Sasuke uncharacteristically hugged his brother fiercely, while sobbing, and Itachi simply held his brother, while he cried, cementing his promise to take care of his brother, and to make sure that he never feels alone and useless ever again. Enough is enough. Yes, he didn't want his brother to be thrown into this life so soon, and yes, he wanted him to be allowed the gift of an actual childhood, but this was too much. He would train his brother, he would keep him out of the hands of the clan and his evil parents. This time he wasn't going to do anything for the clan. This time it would be about keeping the things he loved safe and protected, and the clan wasn't part of that, and Kami helped them if they hurt a hair on his brother's head. After Sasuke finished crying, the brothers went to a pond on the training ground, and Sasuke cleaned his face up, after which Itachi sat down and told Sasuke to do the same. That way he could explain exactly what the technique entailed, and then he could teach him the technique. Okay, Otuto, there are 3 things that you need to learn before you learn this particular technique. The first thing is the hand signs. There are 5 of them, but with enough practice and skill you can use the technique without the hand signs, since your chakra would have memorized the technique and it would simply mold the technique for you. The second thing is chakra control. If you don't have control over the chakra you use during the technique, you won't like what happens. Seeing the confused look on his brother's face, he decided to tell him what could happen if he messed the technique up. Else he was sure that Sasuke would try something out of curiosity just to see what would happen. If you mess anything up, if you're lucky, you will only burn your throat to the point where you would be able to eat anything at all, not even tomatoes. Seeing that Sasuke understood the dangers of messing with this technique, he continued, the last thing you're going to need to learn is to breathe. Yes, Sasuke, breathing is important, trust me. So are you ready, Sasuke? Hi, Aniki, said Sasuke eagerly. Good, so first of all, before we start learning the technique, I want you to master how to do a chakra control exercise. Itachi got up and walked towards a tree with Sasuke following close behind. He then sat down and picked up a leaf and placed it on his forehead, and to Sasuke's shock, when Itachi removed his hand, the leaf remained where it was. Itachi smirked at the look on his face. Out of all the praises he had gotten for his skill level, this was the best compliment ever. All you have to do is focusing your chakra on the leaf and keep it steady on your forehead for at least 1 minute. We will know you've mastered it when you can move it around your forehead comfortably. Itachi then displayed it for Sasuke to see, after which he picked up another leaf and handed it to Sasuke, then told him, the best thing to do is to close your eyes, concentrate on your chakra, then put the leaf on your forehead. Keep your hand on the leaf until you're comfortable that your chakra can keep it there. Then let your hand hover over the leaf. It is best you do this until you can do it comfortably for 1 minute, after which you can then try moving it around. But you should know that if you use too much chakra, the leaf will be blown away. If the chakra is not enough, it won't hold. So you can begin when you're ready. Naturally, Sasuke thought the exercise would be easy after all. How difficult is it to stick a leaf to his forehead for 1 minute? But he found out when he closed his eyes and tried to concentrate on his chakra that focusing his chakra on his forehead was like trying to remove a drop of water from a bowl full of water, and it was frustrating, and it only got worse when Sasuke in annoyance tried to force the chakra to his forehead. The result was a serious shot of pain to his forehead, causing him to cry out. Crummers, why can't I do this stupid technique? All I have to do is focus, and I can't even get my own chakra to listen to me? Otudo, the best thing to do is calm down. You can't do anything if you're agitated. Now the thing about chakra is that you can't force or command it to do anything. The only thing that you can do is create a channel for the chakra to pass and guide it to the place that you want it to go. So in other words, calm down, breathe, close your eyes and relax your mind. We have all the time in the world to do this, so breathe. And when you want to rest, we will focus on getting you to learn the hand signs and on how to breathe. Don't worry so much, Sasuke. I believe in you. Now let's get back to work, okay? Sasuke took a deep breath. Aniki is right, I need to calm down and get this done. Guide my chakra, okay? I can do this. Closing his eyes and concentrating on how his chakra moved, then carefully tried to get his chakra to change its course an inch. While his brother was busy, Itachi had a thought. What would happen to Sasuke when he went on missions? I mean, while he was around, he could keep him safe, but inevitably he will get called away on a mission, and Sasuke would be vulnerable to his parents' plots and schemes, and he couldn't warn him on the account that he was too young and too innocent to learn that his own parents saw him as nothing more than an expendable pawn in their game. Wait a minute, that's it. What Itachi was considering was very dangerous, and if handled poorly, then it won't end well for him and Sasuke. It was time to make allies. 2 days later, Sasuke woke up feeling very happy about himself. This weekend was the best he had ever had. Not only had he mastered the leaf exercise, he also learnt the hand signs, and his breathing was perfect. His brother told him that when he picked him up from school, they would go to the training ground so that he could start practicing the actual technique, and Sasuke was optimistic that he could do it. But the best part of the weekend was that he got to spend it with his brother without any interruptions. It was on this high that he got ready for the day, and since his brother gave him his full attention, his lessons in the morning were cancelled. After breakfast, both boys made their way to the academy. Itachi knew that Sasuke was just 5 and the academy started at age 6, but because his father wanted another prodigy, he enrolled Sasuke in earlier, but now that he didn't do what his parents wanted, they turned their back on him. The whole situation really pissed him off, and now it was time for him to start making moves too. Alright, Otudo, we are here. Now be good, okay? Hi, Aniki. You will come pick me up, right? Hi, now off you go. Bye, Aniki. With that out of the way, Itachi made his way to meet with his potential new ally. With Naruto. The young Namikaze was not having a good day. As a matter of fact, he was having a bad day. His new grandmother, she insisted, had sent Sokka and Suki back to their parents in the capital, depriving him of his new friends. Then a team of shinobi came to guard him, and they didn't like him, just like the villagers, especially the one with a mask around his face. He went out of his way to ignore him. But they were not around now since Karibachan had sent them away for the day since she was expecting a guest. However, now, he was stuck reading a book in his room while she attended to her guest, and the book was on math. He only just started learning, but already math was the subject he despised the most. It didn't make any sense to Bayo. In the living room, Carrie was serving her guest who just came in tea. When she first got his message for meeting, she was stunned and very curious as to what exactly he would want from her, not to mention the request for a private meeting spoke volumes in and of itself. So, Uchiha Itachi, what can I do for you? Susan-sama, I came here with a personal request. I need your help. Why me? Surely you must have other people that you can trust, especially among your clan? That should be the case, however, I don't trust them anymore. And I can't take this to the Hokage just yet. It may be important, but he will see it in a different light, and that will complicate things for me. Very well, then what may I help you with, Uchiha-san? You know of the way the village has been treating my clan since the Kyuubi attack 5 years ago? Yes, I do. And while I very much doubt there is a member of the clan as of now who can pull such a feat off, I don't like your clan at all. I understand, Susan-sama. And you are right, I just came to realize just how evil my clan is, and I fear that if something isn't done soon, the shinobi's king may be in danger. Carrie's eyes turned cold and hard as she glared at Itachi. You speak, war child. Now you will tell me everything that your clan has been up to, and I will decide exactly what is to become of you. Despite her age, Itachi knew that she was not to be trifled with, so he adhered to her command. Ever since my talents showed themselves, my clan has been pushing me to improve. At first I didn't mind. More power simply meant that I could protect my village and my brother from harm. But gradually it got more intense. When I made genin, they immediately started pressuring me to make chunin, and when I did, my father wanted me to start taking as many missions as possible to push me to my limit. They said it was for the clan's pride, and as long as I could watch over my brother, I didn't suspect a thing. But just recently I learned that their ambitions run far deeper than clan pride. The clan has seen the way that they have been treated, and they want to retaliate against the village that has relegated them for something that they didn't do. My parents want me to start getting close to the Hokage, and to make Anbu as soon as possible so that I can be their little spy and reveal sensitive information to them to aid them in their quest for revenge. They also want to use my brother as some kind of expendable pawn in their game, by having him befriend Uzumaki Naruto and gain your trust so that when the time is right my brother would have to kill Naruto or risk his own life. I want to keep my brother safe, I want to keep my village safe, but I also don't want my clan to be able shunned for something they didn't do. Yes, they have never been known for their loving personalities, but this is simply years of pent-up resentment that has taken root, and now we all have to deal with. Carrie knew she should be angry, and she was, but guilt was the primary emotion that she was feeling. The Uchiha had always from the time of the first Hokage been seen as a black spot on the white canvas that was the village. None of them were ever given a choice. It didn't matter that they were so powerful, it didn't matter that they were a noble clan. All that mattered was that Madara was bad, and by default so was the rest of the clan. After all, the Hyuga clan was just as cold as they were, yet they were not treated like traitors. We made them into this. Perhaps if we had been a bit more forgiving or accepting, some of them would have changed, and with that who knows what would have happened by now. Instead we relegated a noble clan of people with long memories to being glorified policemen. Kami, what have we done? Looking at Itachi, she decided right there, and then that it was time for a change of heart. Alright Itachi-kun, what do you have in mind? Oh, and please call me Kari-san. Raising an eyebrow at the sudden change of heart, Itachi decided not to look a gift horse in the mouth. Right now, Kari-san, my major fear is that my parents will start to corrupt Sasuke when I go on missions, so I need someone who can take of him while I'm away, and this way my clan won't suspect anything since this was part of their plan in the first place. Very well, Naruto-chan needs a friend his age anyway, and it sounds like your brother does too. Hi, he's very lonely, and I don't want to give my parents that amount of free time to capitalize on his thirst for attention and turn him into one of them. Very good, Itachi-kun. Now, what do you have in mind for your clan? I don't know, Kari-san, I want them to change, but with the way things are going the clan might need to be stopped permanently, but I also don't want to do that. No, I won't want you to either. A massacre of that size will not bode well for anyone, especially not your brother. I think I have an idea on how to do this, but first I need to know just how close to breaking point we are. If I were to guess, I would say 2 years. Why do you ask? Simple, because what I'm thinking will take time and a lot of effort to accomplish, but at the end I think that it will be very beneficial to us. 2 years is just about enough time for the first phase, which should buy us some more time. Also, I agree with you, don't tell the Hokage about any of this, otherwise he will be bound by law to take such a sensitive matter to the elders, and you will not like their view on this particular matter. This is going to be a long and dangerous game. Are you sure you want to do this, Itachi-kun? Because if you are not fully committed, then this won't work. Life is bleak enough to kill. Don't make it worse than it is. Laugh. And be passionate, trust me, it'll save you from dying young and alone. Anko was right, he needed to start being passionate about the things around him, no matter the cost. Hi Kari-san, I am committed. So what's the plan exactly? Kari immediately got a devious smile on her face, and as he listened to her plan that she only just thought up, he was suddenly very grateful that she was on his side. Damn, she is one hell of a scary lady. But amazingly, he fully believed that with a little work this just might work. Thanks for giving me the push I need, Anko-san. Elsewhere. Anko sneezed while making her way to her favorite dango shop to drown her anger in food. And now, while an angry Anko was not exactly a new thing today, she was feeling particularly raged and frustrated. She was a 10-year-old girl and a genin, despite the fact that she had been older and a chunin before her bastard of a sensei betrayed her and stole her memories and years. Now once again her request to join the IT department had been denied on the account that she was not old enough to be trusted to do such a high-level job. Now she would have been inclined to believe that if the person who told her didn't glare at her with the real reason in his eyes. Why would we trust the snake whore with village secrets? The worst part was that she didn't have a genin team, so the chances that she could be promoted to chunin were very slim. There was no way she could prove herself when nobody gave her a chance to show them what she could do. Thinking about it was seriously upsetting her. Worse yet, Kurenai was still away on her mission while she was stuck here with no team, no sensei and no friends. Shaking her head to wipe that train of thought, she simply looked forward to a few dozen plates of dango to make her feel better again. Only to round the corner and find out that the shop was closed due to the owners going on vacation. Today is not my day. About to start crying, she ran and ran until her feet hurt. When she stopped, she looked at where she was. She realized that she was in Itachi's training ground. Knowing that no one would see her, she sat down by a tree and let the tears fall. Itachi was heading towards his training ground for a little bit of peace and quiet since he had a couple more hours before he had to go and pick Sasuke up from school. He really needed some alone time because this past 2 days have really been trying, especially today, and he really could use some rest. That was when he heard something strange. It sounds like Anko crying again. And sure enough, when he rounded the corner, he saw Anko in a fetal position sobbing. The sight made his chest ache for some unknown reason, but as he neared her, his chest was not the first thing on his mind. The last time she was crying here and I showed up, she tried to kill me, then she found something funny. But how do I help her? I mean, should I go and get someone, or should I offer the love of... How do you comfort a crying girl with homicidal tendencies without making things worse? I mean, I don't even know what she wants or why she is crying in the first place, but leaving her here is not an option. Anko, however, had noticed someone was in front of her, and she raised her head, preparing to politely tell them to leave. That was when she saw Itachi standing in front of her with a conflicted look on his face. It was so obvious that he wanted to comfort her but didn't know how. "Itachi," Anko said, softly snapping him out of his funk. "Sit down next to me." He did it so stiffly that she actually felt sorry for the socially deprived Uchiha. But right now it was about her bad day and she needed someone to hold her, that's all. So when he sat down, she curled into his arms and rested her head on his shoulder, relaxing into him and smiling when she felt how stiff he was. He's probably never held a girl before who knew that the Uchiha clan prodigy was so innocent, unlike me. Itachi noticed that her bad mood was returning, and while he would have preferred to just hold her like she wanted a part of him, felt that she would feel better if she talks about it. "I just hope she doesn't take my head off for this. Anko, I would love to ask you something, please." "Sure. Why were you crying? Why do you want to know?" "I just want to understand and help if I can." Anko really did not want to ruin this moment, and if she told him, there was a possibility that he won't like her anymore, and while she appeared to be some tough-as-nails girl, she only had 2 friends and one of them was Itachi. She didn't know if she could tell him about her past. So she raised her head to tell him that she could not tell him about why she was crying when she saw the look in his eyes. Concern, confusion, interest, and care. What the hell? He will find out about it sooner or later. At least this way I can be the one that tells him, and then if he hates me, at least I'll know at one time that I had a friend. Adjusting her position so that this time she was sitting in his lap, resting her back against his chest, so at least when his eyes changed towards her, she could pretend that he still liked her. "Okay, I'll tell you, but would you not interrupt me when I'm talking?" "Okay, I promise not to interrupt. 3 years ago I graduated from the academy at the top of my class, and then almost immediately I was given one of the best teams ever. Not because of their skills, but because they were my best friends, and life got even better when our sensei turned out to be Orochimaru. I was so excited. I was on a team with my best friends, and we were being trained by one of the legendary Sannin. Life couldn't get any better. I mean, sure, he was a tough teacher and made sure to put us through our paces thoroughly, but he always praised us whenever we did well, so I just took it as him preparing us for the shinobi lifestyle. And sometimes he made me feel like I was special. I was an orphan, and after a while I started to love him like a father. I was happy. But that all changed when people started to go missing, especially when my teammates went missing. Everyone blamed him, but I always defended him. I mean, he was the only person who I thought really loved me, so I didn't like it when people started to blame him for something I didn't think he would ever do. When the accusations got too much, Sensei told me to follow him. He said that we were going on a training trip, just the 2 of us. I remember being so excited. I mean, I got to spend some time alone with my surrogate father. But then when we got to a spot, I was knocked out. At first I was so worried about him, I thought we had been attacked, but then when I woke up I was in so much pain that I could barely think, and 2 ANBU guards were standing in front of me in a cell back in Konoha. It was then that the Hokage came in and told me everything that Orochimaru had done and how he was experimenting on people, including my teammates, and he had abandoned me in a base in the middle of nowhere and branded me with a cursed seal that was slowly killing me if they hadn't found me and sealed the mark. And the worst part was how he had experimented on me, hence why I was now a 10-year-old girl. At first I refused to believe that the man I once called father would be so cruel. I prayed for it to be a nightmare that I would wake up from soon enough, but I never did. Then I was released because I had no part in anything that happened, but everyone still blamed me. They treat me like trash, and there are some who feel that I'm a disgusting stain on the village. If the Hokage didn't allow me to keep my genin status, the council would have made sure that I suffered for something that I didn't do. Now I am stuck without a genin team, a sensei, no missions because I can't be trusted, and no promotions either. Worst of all is that my village hates me and I can count the number of friends I have on one hand. So that's why I'm crying. She waited in his arms for his reaction. But then he didn't say anything. I guess he hates me too. I know that you hate me, but could you just hold me for now? Itachi pulled her closer to him and rested his head on her shoulder. I don't hate you, I don't blame you for anything. What happened was not your fault, you are not a traitor, okay? You are my friend and I am so proud of you. At first she thought he was pulling her legs, so she turned to stare at him and tell him to stop pretending and just tell her the truth. After all, he won't be the first person to hate her. The last thing she needed right now was to go home thinking that she has a friend, only to find out later that he was simply playing her. What makes you say that, Itachi? Before I met you, I was so lost. The clan that I had spent so much time loving and respecting has become a severe pain in my neck. I was so angry and so vengeful that if I didn't do something soon, I was afraid that I would explode from rage. And then I found out how stupid I was for pushing my brother away and my emotions because I was trying to honor my clan any way that I could. I was so down that I didn't know where to turn. Until I met you. You were here crying, and then you went from sadness to anger, then to murderous intent, and finally you were so happy that I was beginning to think you were bipolar or something. Yet what interested me the most was that you were so strong and yet so emotional. The next time I saw you, we sparred and talked. That was when I realized what I should do. You're my inspiration, Anko. No one else understands me like you do, and you have so much fire in you that I always feel strong whenever I think about you. You told me that I was too stiff, that I needed to liven up a little, and ever since then I've been trying. You're my friend, and I'm so proud to be close to you. Throughout the time that Itachi was talking, Anko was silent. She was so moved that she actually started crying, only this time it was happy tears. Finally, someone who doesn't have a stick up their ass. Did I say something wrong? Raising her head, she looked him in the eye, smiling. No, you didn't, I'm just happy, that's all. Seeing the confused look on his face, she knew he was probably wondering how anyone who was supposed to be happy would be crying. She smirked. He was so naive that it was hilarious. Would you do me a favor, Itachi? Sure, what is it? Would please just hold me for a little while, I really just need someone right now? Sure. Itachi, however, created a clone to go and get Sasuke, so that he didn't think he had abandoned him with no explanation, because he had promised to never abandon his little brother again. Looking down at the purple head in his arms, he realized that the list of people that he needed to protect just increased. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, he felt strengthened because his reason for getting stronger just changed, and unlike with his clan, this time he won't mess it up. He had a responsibility to his brother and Anko, and he would keep them safe or die trying. 1 week later. Naruto did not understand why he needed to start studying. His bachan had been forcing him to sit in the house and catch up on his studies. What the heck was the importance of studying the history of some dead guys, or he shivers learning math? And while he did not think there was anything worse than math, he found that calligraphy was punishment from hell. The endless kanji, the strokes, the curves, understanding the meaning behind every kanji. The worst part was that Karibachan was a perfectionist. If he missed even the slightest stroke, he would have to redo the whole thing until he mastered it. God, the nightmare was that learning calligraphy was divided into 5 stages. Beginner, amateur, average, expert, and master. Karibachan told him that he would keep learning his calligraphy until he mastered it, and he was in the beginner stage. Kami, he wanted to destroy anything paper-related, but his bachan would probably just smile and produce more Kami. When will it end? Whack. Ouch, what did you do that for, Tabeo? I needed to get your attention. After all, how else would you learn about the battle between Uchiha Madara and the first Hokage if you were dozing off? I wasn't dozing, you crazy old lady. Nursing his head, he didn't see the ruler until... Whack. Kami, fucking damn it, woman. Whack. Why do you keep hitting me, Tabeo? What did I do? Unless you start behaving, I will continue hitting you. Naruto, you have so much potential, and there is no way I'm going to allow you waste it. Grandma, I get it, but why history? Math, worse yet, calligraphy. Why, bachan, why do I have to do those dumb subjects? You want to become Hokage someday, right, Naruchan? Yes, grandmother, I do. Then how do you expect to rule your village if you don't know its history? How would you sign documents or write letters or statements if nobody understands what you're writing? Okay, but why math, manners, economics, geography? And for the love of ramen politics, I don't get it, Grandma. Looking at her surrogate grandson's discouraged face, Carrie was immediately reminded of another hot-headed child. It made her wistful. You are so much like your mother, Naruto. She also couldn't handle anything reading, but you have a hard road ahead of you, and you need every advantage that you can get. I just know that if I can get you to like reading even just a little, your father's gene will make you one of the brightest of your generation. Smiling at that thought and how many times Minato's love for books aggravated Kushina, Kami, no wonder those two could never agree on a pastime that had nothing to do with ramen. Naruto, do you know what makes a truly strong shinobi? I guess he should have powerful techniques? Well, that is part of it, but there are actually 3 different things. The first is, like you just said, the shinobi's ability to psychically defend himself. Now there are various ways by which he can do that. Taijutsu, Kenjutsu, Genjutsu, Ninjutsu, and Fuinjutsu, although the last one is not very popular because of its difficulty. The other one is medical techniques, but it will take a very good shinobi to put this particular branch of jutsu in a battle scenario, so it's quite uncommon to have a frontline fighter who specializes in medical techniques. All of this makes up the body of the shinobi, and it is what keeps the shinobi ahead of his peers and allows him to defend not only himself but his country and the people he loves. Well, so long as he trains the right way, but that is a topic for another day. The second thing is the ninja's mind. It doesn't matter if you have all the techniques in the world, if you don't know how to handle yourself properly, you will simply be a strong brute and definitely not a leader. And when we say your mental capacities, we mean everything that you have been studying and more. What you will be in the next 5 years will depend on the books you have read and the people you have met. Yes, Naruto, the books you read, so if you want to be a successful leader, you need to read as much as you can. Do you why the third is known as the professor? It is not because of his jutsu prowess, but because of the fact that there is not a book or subject that he doesn't have an idea on, and as such there was a time when no one could outsmart him. Heck, even now he is feared as the most brilliant diplomat in the village, and even though he has faults when he puts his mind to something, he gets it done, but he won't be able to perform as smoothly as he does if he wasn't an avid reader. The last one is the heart of the shinobi. The thing you need to know, Naruto, is that this path, the path of the ninja, is filled with dangerous circumstances and situations that has broken even the strongest of men and turned angels into monsters. It is not a path like those knights that you've read about where a knight fights a couple of bad guys and then he wins and gets a princess and a beautiful kingdom where they live happily ever after. No, that is not what this is. This is a war zone where anything can happen, where your best friend can become your worst enemy and vice versa. It is a path that has brought thousands to their knees. In this path, if you live past 25, then you're either very, very lucky or extremely good. Taking a deep breath, she closed her eyes to push the images of all those people that she had met and buried while being a ninja. Kami, old age was not a blessing in this world, not with all the heartache and misery that you would have seen, especially for those of them who had seen war. God, this life was not a place for the weak-hearted at all. Looking at her surrogate grandson, she realized that he was waiting for her to finish, and thankfully it seemed that he was at least paying attention to her this time. This world will break you or change you in ways you would never imagine, and if you're going to be Hokage, then you need to find something to believe in and stick to it. The will of fire is what all the past Hokages and the shinobi of Konoha hold on to. It is simply seeing the village as your own family and drawing strength from the knowledge that the entire village is counting on you and looking to you to protect them, and after the way that they have treated you, Naruto, you have every right to hate this village. But if you wish to lead them, then you must love them and draw strength from that love. As you grow older, you will get stronger in your heart, but the basic fact is that you must love them. So Naruto, do you want to be the best shinobi, the Hokage, or do you wish to be a mediocre shinobi? Naruto bowed his head deep in thought about everything that he had heard. She was right, the village had treated him so badly. I mean, why should he fight to defend a village that hated him and treated him like he was a monster? He should hate them, hell, they deserved it. But if he hated them and sorts to destroy them, how is he any better than them? His parents gave their lives for this village and they loved him, but how could he love this village? How? Grandma, I don't think I can love them. I know I should. But they have hurt me too much. I don't hate them because that won't make me any better than them, but I can't love them. I just can't. Carrie sighed. I need to change his mind, because if Naruto doesn't believe in the village with the way they would treat him, it won't be long before his young heart starts to lean towards hating them, and with the being inside of him, it will be a disaster if the Kyuubi notices. He will capitalize on it and turn Naruto into the monster that they have portrayed him to be. Something has to be done quickly or else, I wonder, well, it is worth a try. Okay. Naruto, do you know the two strongest emotions in the world, and the emotions that has driven the best of shinobis? No, Bachan, I don't. Love and hate. Those are the two strongest emotions in the world. Hate is easy to feel and build on. It is made up of resentment, anger, pride, entitlement and jealousy, or the most common, revenge. Hatred is a feeling that starts small and grows over time. It is in everyone, and the beauty of hatred is that it makes life seem easy. No one will mess with you, people will whisper your name in fear. Everywhere you go, nobody will dare disrespect you. It will grant you the ability to shed useless emotions like humility and compassion. After all, why in the world should you bow down to anyone when you can simply put them in their place? And if you are strong enough, no one will ever question you or dare speak out of turn in fear of what you might do. Your pesky humanity disappears, and everything that you do is justified because, after all, what does anyone know? They haven't gone through what you have, so how dare they try to tell you what to do? It will be so easy to breathe because no one will ever be there to bother you. But you will end up being hated yourself, and whenever you have a problem, no one will support you. In fact, some will even be happy at your demise. And dear God, if you should ever be rendered powerless even a little bit, people, including those around you, will seek to kill you, and when you die, no one will mourn, but they will be people who will celebrate your death, thanking Kami for removing the monster forever. Love, however, is a different story entirely. It is the hardest emotion to maintain in times of hardships. It always comes back to bite you in the ass because love is comprised of compassion, forgiveness, loyalty, and gentleness, all of which are seen by a lot of people as a weakness. Love will make you look like a fool to everyone around you, and it will make you stupid. The other thing is that while it will take longer, love will make you a force to be reckoned with. Love is a will that is best strengthened during fire. Steel, before it becomes strong and useful, must pass through the furnace, and I'm sure you can guess just how hot a furnace is, but it must pass through it if it desires to become everything that it is supposed to be. That is the thing about love. It requires patience and determination to maintain, and even more when hatred is justified, because at that point the part of you that loves being bad and rebellious will feel that you are taking this whole loving thing a little bit too far. Can't you just bend a little? And you would be inclined to bend, thinking that it is just a tiny slip, that you can still control yourself, but unlike love, hatred is born in tiny slips. Lastly, when you are down, love will bring someone to pull you up and keep you safe. You will always have someone who will look up to you, because when people see leadership in its truest form, they won't be able to resist following you, and some will gladly give their lives just because of you. It will be something similar to being Hokage. Naruto, I know you don't like them, but this is where you have to choose. So choose, my boy, love or hate. Naruto started crying at his grandmother's words because when she first started speaking, he wanted to choose hatred. He could feel the emotion rearing its head, and even though he heard the bad sides of following that path, he still wanted to hate. It was so easy. But then he remembered that if he felt this way, then what would his parents say, and won't he just prove the villagers right by becoming a monster and god? When she started talking about love, he realized how foolish he had been. He had promised his parents that he would make them proud, but he couldn't. Carrie saw he only needed a small push, so she put her arms around him and pulled him close. She let him cry for a few more minutes, then she said, I know it is hard, Naruto, but you need to understand that just because you love the village doesn't mean that you can't outdo your mother's prank record. After all, as a civilian, certain rules of behavior don't apply to you. The comment made Naruto laugh. Okay, grandmother, I will love my village, I promise. I am so proud of you, Naruto, and I just know that your parents are too. Thank you, grandmother, I really don't know what I would have done without you. And boy, did he mean it. So are you ready to take your studies seriously now? Taking a deep breath, Naruto looked his Bachan in the eyes. Hi, no more mediocre. Meanwhile, Kyuubi saw the whole thing, and while he should feel angry that his chances of corrupting the boy had been greatly reduced, instead he was curious to see just how the Ninjen will handle the big bad world, especially with the old lady manipulating him, and he had to admit that the pranks definitely aroused his interest. Let's see what you're made of, kid. Meanwhile, another week later, Anko was suspicious. She had been called in by the civilian council and the village elders, who apparently had a mission for her. Now she would have been inclined to trust the council and the elders, but she knew that they didn't like her at all, and they were the first people who protested that she should be locked up instead of being reinstated as a genin. And now those same people had a mission for her that the Hokage couldn't hand to her? She was definitely suspicious, all right, but it didn't matter what they thought, she was going to prove them wrong. Anko Mitarashi reporting for duty. Hello Mitarashi-san, said the head of the civilian council Saki, and if Anko didn't know any better she would say that she looked a little bit too happy to see her, and after scanning the faces of the people in the room she noticed that they were all giddy for some reason that she couldn't fathom, and it put her on edge. We have a mission for you Mitarashi-san, it is also a test. Did you say a test? Indeed, continued Koharu. If you successfully complete this mission you will be promoted to Chunin. On the field promotion basis, thereby helping you bypass your no-team setback that we unfortunately have been unable to solve yet. Anko didn't like this one bit. The entire setup practically reeked of foul play, but she was a genin from a civilian family, so she had no clout whatsoever to start questioning her superiors, especially not when there was a promotion involved. This way, if she did successfully finish the mission, then even if they refused to promote her, the Hokage who liked her will be law-bound to honor the words of both his advisors and the civilian council and promote her. So the way she saw it, it was worth the risk. What do I have to do? The people in the civilian council all had devilish smiles on their faces as Koharu gave Anko a briefing on her solo mission. Saki, head of the civilian council who had lost her children to Orochimaru and her husband to the Kyuubi, felt that justice was finally being served. The Hokage and that old hag may have taken the Kyuubi brat under their protection, but the snake's whore will pay, and finally our village will be one step closer to getting its revenge on these abominations that walk our streets. Itachi frowned when Anko told him of what happened and her mission specs. It was too easy. She was supposed to go to Wind Country and pick up a package from a traveling merchant and transport it to Konoha all by herself, after which she would be promoted to Chunin. It was far too easy. I don't like this one bit, Anko. Believe me Tachi-chan, I don't either, but it is my best chance at getting promoted. All I have to do is make to Wind Country and back. No sweat. I'm coming with you. If I take a leave now, I can follow you without anyone asking questions. That's sweet of you Tachi-chan, but we both know that you won't leave Sasuke here by himself on a leave. I can handle myself. Itachi definitely didn't like this, and as much as he wanted to escort her, he knew that Sasuke needed him here. He had finally been able to make a small ball of fire 2 days ago, and he would not appreciate being left behind. Plus, if his father came across Sasuke practicing a C-rank technique with such efficiency, it will not end well. Unless the idea was crazy, but Anko was always saying he needed to start thinking outside the box, and the idea was just crazy enough to work. I just wish Kurenai wasn't doing back-to-back missions, Anko said while the two of them sat under the tree in their private training area, unaware of Itachi's thought process. You are supposed to leave first thing tomorrow morning, right? Yes, what about it? A tradition in the Uchiha clan is that when an adult Uchiha feels the need to train his fire affinity to its utmost level, he goes on a trip to the clan's sacred compound outside the village. Okay, what does that have to do with me? He is also supposed to take a member of the clan with him, a member of the clan head's family. I still don't get it. I think it is time I start to train my fire affinity to its utmost level, something I'm sure my family would approve of, but my father and mother are too busy to escort me, and since I must take a member of the clan head's family with me, I have no choice but to bring my little brother along. I think we can leave tomorrow morning too. And then outside the gate, I could simply decide to head over to Wind Country to train, and come back home after I miss my way to the compound, of course. Seeing where he was going with this, Anko smirked. Yeah, but there's a kink in your master plan. What happens to Sasuke when you get lost? That's easy. I believed that I could find my way without an escort, so I decided to hand him over to Susan Carey, who is more than capable of handling him while I go train and return. She also promised to keep his location a secret. After all, I wouldn't want to get my escort in any trouble. Anko couldn't take it anymore. She doubled over laughing. I think you have been spending too much time with Carrie if you can come up with shit like that on command. Oh, I was just thinking out loud, but since you heard all that, do you think the Valley of End is a good resting place? Pardon the slip, I would want to honor the patriarch of my great clan. Anko couldn't for the life of her provide an answer. She only nodded because she was too busy laughing. But after she was done, she gave Itachi a genuine smile. Thank you. Totally worth it. You are welcome. I should probably get going. There is someone I need to ask a favor of. Anko smirked as she watched him go. You really are a good friend, Tachi-chan. Ino and her mother were doing some late shopping, not because they really needed anything, but because her mom was worried about her. For the past few weeks, Ino had been obsessed with finding Katara's twin. Apparently there was a female who looked just like Katara and dressed her like, but behaved so strangely and refused to answer any of their questions, only to vanish when the real Katara showed up. Ino had nearly driven herself crazy when Katara informed them that she did not have a sibling, let alone a twin. So Ino's questions were who was the mystery girl, and why did she wear Katara's clothes and come to the playground where they usually meet? Was she trying to pretend to be Cat? But even if she was, why not behave like Cat? Wouldn't an imposter at the very least behave like the person who they are impersonating so that they can avoid being caught? I mean, why would a spy behave like they didn't want to be where the friends of their subject were? Was she or he trying to use Cat's body to do something bad so that Cat would be blamed for it, and if so, what? To be honest, Mito was proud of the detective in her daughter that was determined to find out the details of any mystery that was presented before her. It showed that she had a talent for unraveling puzzles which would suit her well, as not just a Yamanaka but as a kunoichi in the future. After all, a good head for solving problems and being a good investigator is exactly what a Yamanaka is supposed to be, just like her husband. But this was going too far. Just this morning, Ino had decided to go around the playground roughly questioning all the children, both male and female, looking for any guilty person, and when that failed she started questioning the parents. The only reason she is questioning everyone instead of just the young females was because her father had told her about what the henge was and exactly what it was capable of doing. I just wish she would realize that if the person was a spy, the higher-ups would have known about it by now at least. But she could definitely understand the need to find out exactly what this new entity was. She herself was also curious to find out who would do something like this. When she first heard it, she thought it was probably some kid trying to be naughty, but then Ino told her that she didn't notice him or her having fun. In fact, she could have sworn that the person didn't want to be there. "Hey mom, can I check around by myself for a while?" "Absolutely, sweetheart. About you, come find me at the nightgown section when you are done." "Mom, what happened to your own nightgown?" "It got ripped up." "How did that happen?" "Ino, just go, would you?" Because there was no way she was going to tell her what really happened to her gown, but she definitely wasn't complaining about what torn it up. Damn Inoichi and his devious imagination. Just the thought of it was getting her hot. Shaking her head to clear her thoughts for now, she said goodbye to daughter while she went to browse for new nightgowns. Adults are so weird, thought Ino. Ino decided to head to the shoes section to find a pair of new shoes just for the heck of it. She was already planning on giving up on trying to find out who the fake Cat was when she heard, "Look at those shoes, they remind me of when that damn demon fox dressed up like a girl." "What are you talking about? I know that Beast is a male. Don't tell me he can change his body too?" "No, we were chasing him and then we lost him, only for me to notice a child with blonde spiky hair wearing a pink top and white shirt with pink shoes on. Damn, he must have gone crazy or something." "He is a fox, what did you expect?" "Naturally, I noticed something was wrong. Then, when he turned, we knew it was him. Stealing a little girl's clothes, I hope you guys taught him a lesson?" "That's just it, the godforsaken fox got away around 4 blocks to the playground." "Please tell me that you're joking. How could you lose that beast so close to the little children? What would have happened if he got one of them?" "Believe me, I didn't like it either. I really wish that damn fox would just die already. You and everyone else, sister, just make sure that next time you don't let him get to places like the playground ever again." "Oh, don't worry, next time he won't survive. I will see to it myself." "Ino." Ino jumped up at the sound of her mom's voice. Turning back, she noticed that the women had left and were walking towards the exit, and while she wanted to follow them and ask them some questions, she knew that her mom won't allow her not to mention the fact that they may not even talk to her. No one takes a 5-year-old seriously after all. "Ino, I'm talking to you, are you okay?" "Yeah, mamma, infine." "What happened?" I leave her for a few minutes thinking she would come and meet me soon, only to find her so focused on 2 people talking, and now she is so deep in thought one would think that she was deciding the fate of an entire village. Ever since she met that unknown girl, she has changed. Where is my playful little girl? "Ino, why don't we go home? We can do our shopping some other time." "Okay, mom, let's go." She doesn't even want to shop. This has to end. The day Ino Yamanaka doesn't want to spend money shopping for clothes is the day something is terribly wrong. At the Yamanaka house. While resting in bed with her husband, Mito decided to tell him about Ino, so that they could do something if they had to wipe her memory of everything. She would not mind. She just wanted her little girl back. "What's wrong, love?" "Inoichi, there is something wrong with Ino." "You mean with her need to find this mystery girl? I wouldn't worry about it." "It is serious, dear. I think you should wipe her memory, just so she can be back to normal." "Okay, that is going too far for something as small as this." "She didn't want to shop today." "Wait at all. Not even remotely." Oh dear, still wiping her memory will be a bit too much. I think I can suppress it, so that she doesn't see it as so important. Do it tonight, this can't wait. All right, she didn't want to buy anything? Asked Inoichi as if to be sure that he heard right. Not a single thing. Damn, okay, let's do this. When they entered into Ino's room, they noticed that she was wide awake, so Inoichi decided to put her to sleep using a genjutsu. Meanwhile, Ino was having a migraine from all the thoughts running through her mind. Why was there a demon fox in Konoha? Is there even something like a demon fox? Why in the world would the Hokage even allow a demon fox roam the village? Why was something like a demon fox even in a hospital wearing girl clothes for that matter? If there really was a demon fox in Konoha, then he was able to transform into anyone he wished, so how did she know he wasn't stalking her? Or toying with her? The endless questions were beginning to wear her down until all of a sudden her eyes started to drop and she realized that she was falling asleep. The next day, Ino woke up late in the morning, and when she went to brush her teeth, she nearly screamed at the condition her face was in. She has bags under her eyes, for goodness sake. How in the world did this even happen? But as she tried to remember, she noticed that she couldn't, and somehow she wasn't sure she even wanted to. Not if it was the cause of the bags under her eyes. She decided to get dressed, then head straight to the mall and get some makeup to cover her eyes. No way was she going to the playground looking like this, and she needed some new clothes too, to go with her new look, not to mention the fact that she couldn't remember the last time she went shopping. Where has my head been? My clothes are so yesterday. When she got downstairs, she noticed that her parents were in the sitting room. She was so pleased that her dad had not gone to work today, which would give her time to convince him to follow her and mom shopping. This way she could buy even more stuff. Dad? Running into her father's lap, she said with an annoyed look on her face. See, Dad, see my eyes? There are bags there. Bags, Daddy. Laughing, Inoichi and his wife shared a relieved look. Well, sweetheart, maybe it is a sign of maturity. Nanny, what kind of maturity? I'm 5 and this is not okay. Well, what do you want to do, princess? Shop for makeup, duh. What else I would do, Daddy? Sheesh. Well, while I normally would not agree to a 5-year-old using makeup, I think we can make an exception just this once. Thanks, Daddy, you're the best. Why don't we all go? I'm sure you would want to buy new clothes, sweetheart. Of course, Mom, my clothes are so yesterday, and since Dad is coming, he can carry everything. Indeed, he can. Inoichi knew that he would lose if he decided to argue, so he just agreed, and the whole family was off with Ino going on about the entire juicy gist she knew about. But the worrying thing was that there were holes in her memory, and while she wasn't concerned about it now, it won't be long before she starts to notice. Oh well, we will have to deal with that later. For now, we just need to focus on giving her new memories to suppress the old ones, but I just hope she doesn't hate us for this when she eventually finds out. Meanwhile, outside the gates of Konoha. Aniki. Why do I have to stay with someone while you go on this training trip? Why can't I just stay at home? Sasuke did not want to go to some unknown babysitter that he had never met before. He didn't even understand why his brother needed to leave anyway. He was strong enough as he is, he didn't need to get stronger. But when he asked him that, he remembered what his brother said. I may be strong now, Sasuke, but in order to protect you better, I need to get stronger, because it doesn't matter how strong you are, there will always be someone just as strong who is training to be stronger, and if you lax when you two meet, he will have the advantage. And that is not an advantage I am ready to give out. While he didn't understand much of what his brother told him, he knew that his brother was just trying to look out for him. But how he knew that there was someone just as strong as him somewhere, Sasuke did not know. He was just going to have to trust his brother on this one. That didn't mean he liked it though. After all, his brother promised to teach him how to expand his chakra reserves so that he can make a bigger fireball. The one he could make now was seriously small. He wanted to make one like his brother so that his father would be proud of him. Sasuke, this is better, trust me. I trust you, Aniki. It is the babysitter that I don't trust. What if he tries to feed me sugar and I get too hyperactive? Itachi smiled. His little brother did not like eating sweets because they made him sugar high, and father did not like it, so in order to please his father, Sasuke did not take sweets, even his favorite strawberry sundae. He was almost tempted to feed him one because while his father did not like Sasuke on sugar high, he did. He was always freer, and that was the way he wanted his little brother to behave. Free. Don't worry, Sasuke, I made sure she knows that you don't like sweets. Wait, did you tell her why? Of course, said Itachi with a smirk. But Aniki, that is so embarrassing. He will think I'm a weird kid or something. Well, your hair is styled like a duck, and your babysitter is a female, not a male. Well, that's even worse. What if she is an old lady that will force me to obey her every will and eat vegetables and my hair is not styled like a duck? If you say so, Sasuke. Aniki, seriously, what kind of babysitter is this? You know the best way to know someone is to meet them personally. Spinning around, Sasuke noticed an old lady with an amused smile on her face, and he ran behind Itachi, causing both Kari and Itachi to chuckle. Well, aren't you a cute little boy, Sasuchan? Sasuke didn't move from his position behind his brother, and while at the back of his mind he knew he was being childish, he didn't care. Right now he wanted to not go with this woman, he wanted to go home with his brother, train to impress his father and forget this ever happened. Unfortunately, Itachi had other plans, literally. Kari-san, bowing in greeting, he waited for her to do the same before straightening back up. This is my brother Sasuke. Sticking his head behind his brother's leg, he waved at Kari, causing her to smile and wonder where the bold, playful child was. You know, I have a grandson at home who is just about your age, Sasuchan. Oh? Okay. Can we go now, Aniki? Itachi almost gave in, but he knew that he was needed somewhere else. He also knew that if he didn't leave in the right manner, then Sasuke will be hell to deal with, and part of the plan hinged on Sasuke and Naruto becoming good friends. So how to do this? Luckily for him, Kari got this one covered. I hear you have been training, Sasuchan. Well, my grandson is training to be a shinobi too, but he needs all the help he can get. So will you please help him? Sasuke immediately wanted to say no before he heard, like a big brother would? After that, he decided that if there was someone out there who needed his help, then he will help him. Then when his father hears that he was helping someone else become a good shinobi, his father would definitely be impressed. He could show his brother that he could look out for someone too just like him. So he meekly came out and nodded his head. You know your brother needs to go, but first he needs a hug and a promise that you will be a good boy. Will you do that, Sasuchan? Hi, hugging his brother, he looked up and said, You can go now, Aniki, I promise I will be good, you'll see. I know you will. Thank you, Kari-san, for being awesome. I will be back soon. Kissing his Otudo's head, he said, I will be back as soon as I can. Wait for me, okay? Hi, Aniki, and beat that guy, whoever he is. Laughing, Itachi turned after bowing one more time to Kari and took off to the Valley of End to meet with Anko, who I hope is not pissed at me for being late. Wait a minute. Stopping on a branch, Itachi focused on a chakra signature to his right. Anko? You got it in one, Tachi-chan. Your little brother is cute. I thought you were supposed to meet me at the Valley of End. Anko started fidgeting and mumbled something under her breath. I'm sorry, what? I said I don't know where the Valley of End is. Itachi raised an eyebrow, but he knew that teasing her right now will not end well for him. So how to do this delicately? Okay, come on, let's go. Think you can keep up? Anko raised her head and smirked when she saw the changeling smile on Itachi's face. You are going to regret that, Tachi-chan. And with that, the two of them took off, not knowing what they would meet, but they were assured that whatever happens, they would face it together. Route underground. Danzo's office. You sent for me, Danzo-sama? Ah, Shin, my favorite solider. How are you doing today? Waiting for you to die. I am doing fine, thank you for asking, Danzo-sama. Yes, and how is your health? Just get to the point, you disgusting war hawk. The doctors tell me that I'm more than fit for duty. Just the way I like it. I have something here for you, but first, how is your little brother Sai? God, no, why is he asking after Sai? He is fine, Danzo-sama. Excellent, I actually don't think he has any friends. Does he? No, Danzo-sama. Because you refuse to allow him outside the base. How awful, this needs to be corrected at once. Now I know a certain blonde child who is Sai-chan's age. I think they will make good friends. You should know him, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki? Why? It sounds like a great idea, Danzo-sama. Yes, every 5-year-old should have friends his age. But I'm worried that he might get hurt playing with his new friends, so would you please watch him for my peace of mind? Yes, Danzo-sama. Thank you, Shin, I trust that you will fill me in on little Sai's adventures. Right? Instantly Shin understood. He wants Sai to be his little spy, and he would then get all the info back to Danzo. His little brother was the only thing that kept him going. He wasn't about to let Danzo control him, hell no. I trust one, don't have to ask Sai-chan about his day myself, do I, Shin? Asked Danzo in a tone that spoke of true cruelty. No, Danzo-sama, I will report his day back to you. Thank you so much, Shin, you have eased this old man's fears. The Kyubi Jinchuriki is staying with Susan Carey. I'm sure you know where she stays? Hi, Danzo-sama, I will make sure to follow your orders. That's why I like you, Shin-o, and I almost forget here, these are drugs that will help with your dreadful condition. Thank you for your kindness, Danzo-sama. You are very welcome. Well, off you go. Bowing, Shin got up and left. Cammy, what am I going to do? Wait, Susan Carey, that's. Smirking at the thought of finally getting ahead of Danzo, Shin relaxed. I will see you destroyed, Danzo, I swear I will. Entering his room, he saw his little brother sitting on the ground drawing. He was so proud of Sai. A 5-year-old with such a gift for drawing and calligraphy that was far above his years, and while he hated Danzo's guts, he had to agree with the bastard on one thing. Sai needed friends his own age. Hey, Tuto. Turning around, Sai noticed his brother. Hey, Aniki. See my new drawing, is it good? It was an old hawk, and it immediately reminded Shin of Danzo, and he chuckled. I think it is very good, Sai-kun. Tell you what, would you like to go to the village with me? There are some friends that I want to introduce you to. Really, Aniki, we get to go into the village? Yes, Otudo, now get dressed, then we will go. A few minutes later, Shin teleported them to the village, and from there they made their way to Carrie's home estate. I hope she is around and she accepts me, because while the seal on my tongue prevents me from speaking anything bad against Danzo, if she asks the right questions and pieces together the story, then I will have an ally against Danzo. If not, then at least Sai will have a friend. All hinged on how smart Carrie really is. Meanwhile, Kakashi was tearing his way towards Wind Country to look for a poison to kill Naruto. Since the day he and his team had started watching, the little devil Kakashi had slowly been losing his sanity. He couldn't take it anymore. That beast dared to show mannerisms similar to his surrogate parents, and he even dared to bear the name that Sensei had wanted to call his child who died during the Kyubi attack. I hate him, that disgusting vermin, that beast. The fact that he looks like Sensei's son is blasphemy. He must die. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care what the Uchiha clan wants anymore. I am going to sneak into Suna, find the strongest, most painful poison I can find, and watch that beast die a slow and painful death, which is exactly what he deserved. Back with Carrie and Sasuke. So where do you stay, Carrie-san? Well, I stay in an estate with my surrogate grandson. What is the meaning of surrogate? Well, surrogate means someone who is not your family by blood but by bond. How can someone be your family by bond? What do you mean by that? I thought family was family. Well, you are right, family is family, but you have a family that you are born into. You share a lot with them, especially the fact that you are all from the same bloodline, just like you are an Uchiha. However, when you start to like other people who are not your family by blood and you wish to protect them, people who are there for you through everything and depend on you just as much, then they become your surrogate family. Family that you choose and stick to no matter what. So I can have 2 families? Yes, Sasuchan, you can. You can have a surrogate father, mother, sister, and brother. All you have to do is choose to. Sasuke started looking incredibly shy. What's wrong, Sasuchan? Will you be my surrogate grandmother? I don't have any. The request warmed Carrie to her core. Of course, Sasuchan, I will. When she said that, his face lit up, then he looked ahead and saw something. Is that Naruto Bachan? Looking ahead, Carrie noticed 2 people that she was sure she had never seen before. No, Sasuchan, but remember what I said about surrogate family? Good, because I have a feeling that that little boy and Naruto need a brother like you. What do you say?
Hi, Ba-chan.
That's my boy. Standing in front of the 2 kids, she asked. So what are your names, please? My name is Shin, and this is my little brother Sai. Hi, my name is Sasuke, and this is my surrogate grandmother. Sasuchan, why don't you and Sai-chan go inside and find Naruchan, then tell him to show you guys around. I will join you guys soon, okay? Is it okay if I go, Aniki? Sure. Come on, Sai, let's go find Naruto. After the boys were gone, Carrie adopted her cold face. You are with Danzo, aren't you? You are well informed. While saying well, Shin showed Carrie his tongue, causing her to narrow her eyes. Are you with the fox willingly? I was. I see. Your +1, is he an owl or a dove? He is an oblivious owl. Who is the messenger? The one who was with the fox willingly. What do you want? To see that the old fox accepts nature and moves on. I see. Do you want this to happen easily or the opposite? The opposite. Shin then showed her his drugs and let his true condition fall from his pocket, and after reading it and seeing the medication that he was taking in super slow motion, she became pissed. It shall be done. I only care for the owl, not the messenger, to be safe from the old fox. Well, I care for both the owl and the messenger, don't worry. I must go. Go. Meanwhile, inside, Naruto was waiting in the living room for his bachan and the new child that she was bringing, Sasuke. When he first heard that a child his age was coming to spend some time with him, he was ecstatic, especially since the Sasuke was training to be a shinobi too. But right now he was nervous. I mean, what was the guarantee that they would even get along? What if he had been told by his parents to stay away from him? His bachan told him that this one was special. He trusted her and he definitely wanted to have a surrogate brother, but what if the brother didn't want him? Sasuke and Sai entered the house and saw a blonde boy sitting quietly on the couch looking deep in thought, while Sai was polite enough to wait for their new brother, according to Sasuke, to notice them. Sasuke was not. Oi. Startled, Naruto noticed two boys who looked that they could use some serious sun staring at him. I thought there was only one person coming, now there are two of them. What am I going to say now? Naruto. Huh. What are you thinking about? Huh, nothing. I thought there was only one of you coming. Yeah, bachan saw Sai at the gate and now he is our surrogate brother too. Hello, Naruto and Ai-san. We're brothers. Yeah, Dobe, what are you, deaf now? Team, watch it. Or what, Dobe? You probably don't even know how to be a shinobi if you didn't notice us enter. Says the duck, but what was that? The two boys were now standing a foot away from each other, glaring, while Sai was sitting on the couch wondering why they were being like this. But something told him that this might just be how they would be from now on. You better take that back, Dobe, or else. Or else what, duck butt? Why, I oughta. Well, I'm glad you two are getting along. He started it, bachan. What, I didn't start anything, baka, right, Sai? They both started it. Oi. What? Carrie smiled because she had this firm belief that the three of them would grow up to be just fine. You know what, a Jinchuriki and Uchiha clan heir, a possible root spy. This is a recipe for disaster, but I won't let that happen. They are brothers from this day forward, and I just know that I'm not the only one who would see that. And she was right, because in their hidden places the three weapons made by Shigeru Ayumu glowed brightly, awaiting the day that their wielders would come and collect them. And the weapons made by Eriko's mother also wanted to be joined to their brothers, so they glowed as well. And these weapons are Cerberus, the water hydra; Force Edge, the earth griffin; Agni and Rudra, the fire phoenix; Rebellion, the wind dragon; and Yamato, the lightning leviathan. 3 days later, in Wind Country, Itachi tailed Anko as she made her way into the cavern that was supposed to be the meeting place, but they could both feel a chill run through their spines, and they shared the same thought. This will not end well. The plan was that she would enter first and check the place out just in case the mission was actually legit. Then if she ran into trouble, Itachi would sneak into the underground cave and wait until such a time when it is very clear that Anko needed backup, because if such a time comes, then they both agreed that only they could come out of the cavern alive, so that no one knows that Itachi was with her. That way she can head back to Konoha, claim the mission was a success based on the fact that she came out alive and with evidence of everything that happened, which was why she summoned some of her small snakes and Itachi summoned a few crows to keep watch and act as witnesses to the mission, so that the council will have no choice but to promote her to Chunin. So why do I have this pit in my stomach? Wait, what's that? Listening closer to the voices in the cave, she heard a conversion that sent shivers throughout her entire body. This is Itsuna is only a day away, and we can finally kill that blasted Kazekage for daring to deny us entry. You are too impatient and it is starting to piss me off. Says you, I thought you don't like to be kept waiting. Moreover, this new body of yours is slowing us down, Sasori. A hunched-back puppet wearing a black cloak with red clouds on it said in annoyance, "Keep talking, Ichigo, and I will make you my new body." When he said this, a scorpion-like tail came out from the back of the robe. His companion, an orange-haired 6'1" Kusa-nin, simply glared hard at his partner. I don't even know why I'm here waiting for this freak. My blades of chaos are screaming for blood. That bastard's blood who dares think that he can deny me my chance to serve Jashin-sama with my sacrifices. How will I attain immortality if I can't offer sacrifices to the great Jashin-sama? Oh, he will pay, and then I will bathe Suna in blood. Practically drooling at the things he would do when Sasori gets whatever body he is looking for. He missed the swing Sasori took at his head until he felt something whiz past him, bringing him back to earth, and not happy for the callback. What the hell is wrong with you? You fucking cocksucker, I should kill you for doing that. Why the hell do you even need a new body anyway? Simple, I need her because of the blood in her veins. With the seal on her neck, if I can extract some samples of her tainted blood, I will be able to make a poison that will be legendary in both its potency and the amount of pain it can cause. I like it already. If you can do this, I will join your so-called Akatsuki. Why else would I have not killed you by now? Thought Sasori. He then focused on a spot to his left and smirked. Well, looks like we don't have to wait anymore, do we, Anko-san? When telling the story later, she would swear she had died and gone to heaven because 1 second she had the attention of 2 S-rank criminals, and the next second the landscape changed to a plain open space and she noticed she was breathing heavily and on the verge of passing out. When she felt a hand on her shoulder, she started crying, pleading to Kami for a quick death, until she heard a voice that she from that day forward called the voice of her savior. Damn, Anko, you can run fast. Turning around, she fell into Itachi's arms and held him so tightly that he wondered if she was somehow coping Tsunade Senju. She started sobbing heavily into his chest, and while he didn't know what to do before, he did now, so he wrapped his arms around her and held her close. I wonder what happened in there to make her so scared she's practically shaking. About half an hour later, Anko stopped crying and jumped out of Itachi's arms, startled and frankly a little crazy. Where are they? Itachi, they are after me. Please don't let them find me. Itachi. Itachi grabbed her and her close. Whoever they are, Anko, you lost them. If I didn't have my Sharingan on, I wouldn't have seen you blow past me. With you going at that speed, I knew something was very wrong, so I set up a string of genjutsu that will confuse them for a while, and by the time they break out of it, my crows would have eliminated our tracks, making it difficult for them to track us. And if we leave now, we can ditch them for good. He had barely finished talking before Anko took off again, and this was the moment that he knew that Anko had unnatural stamina, because she kept running until she blew past the wind country border by at least 100 miles, while he had to stop and take at least 5 solider pills that he knew he would regret when he had the chance to rest. Anko didn't stop until she passed out. Thankfully, he had enough adrenaline to take her to a shop just ahead before he too passed out with one thought. Damn, we are going to feel this when we wake up. However, while the dango shop owners took the strangers in and cared for them until they got strong enough to go home, there was one other strangler in Suna that was lost. Kakashi the prodigy, the copy ninja, was embarrassingly lost. In his haste to make it to Suna, he forgot that he had never been to Suna before, and he had no idea how to get there, and the only thing keeping him from losing his sanity in this wide desert was the small cabin house that he saw ahead of him. I will get a map from there and hopefully some water, then I will make my way towards Suna, find that poison and kill that beast. Oh, how wrong he will be. Meanwhile, Sasori was heading back to Akatsuki HQ with Ichigo's body after he started laughing and taunting Sasori for sending a female running like the devil was at her heels because of his ugly art and ways. I will just have to find another way to make that super poison, but how the hell is it possible for a body like that to generate that much speed? It is unnatural. Chapter 3. Anko stood in front of the gates of Konoha, hungry for blood. Her village sent her on a suicide mission even after everything she had done for them. The last mission had broken her hold on the cursed seal, and now it was free of its restraints. So the past week had been filled with dark thoughts and dreams of the destruction of the village that dared to try to kill her. Finally she gave in to it, and boy, the bloodlust was ecstasy in her veins. As she stood a few paces outside the gate, she only had one thought. She wanted to make them all pay. She wanted to make them suffer like she had. She was done being the good ninja. Sensei was right. It is better to be feared than loved. A while ago, the thought of copying her vile sensei even a little would have made her sick to her stomach, but now it comforted and inspired her. She wanted to be feared, but leaving the village won't satisfy her bloodlust. She would stay here and at every opportunity punish them. Thankfully, she knew the laws of Konoha like the back of her hand, so was free to do as she pleased and still be a shinobi. Right now, she didn't care about making Chunin or even getting promoted or getting stronger to kill Orochimaru. Right now, she had all the power she needed to stay in the village and have some fun. What was the worst thing they can do? Demote her. Send her to prison for something they won't be able to prove, yeah right? She would make the lives of the civilians especially a living hell. You were right, Sensei, they don't deserve to live. Screw experiments, they must pay in blood. Kill, whispered the cursed seal. Kill, kill and kill. Soon, I swear I will watch this despicable village burn for all the crimes that they have committed. They must not have a happy life, they don't deserve it. Pain, suffering, agony, grief. These are the things that they deserve. Images of a Konoha on fire entered her mind and she smirked maliciously. She saw them screaming for help as she cut them to pieces and burned their loved ones in front of them. "Oh, hello, Anko, you look happy. Did you have a good mission?" asked the gate guard, who she instantly decapitated in her mind. The image brought a savage grin to her face that sent shivers down the guard's spine. "I had a lovely mission, and I'm going to enjoy being home after being away for so long." Why does it sound bad when she said it? Thought the guard, who was about to wet his pants. Damn, she looks like a crazy person. Anko left him knowing exactly where she was going next. I wonder what Saki-chan and her family's heart tastes like. Oh well, I guess I will just have to find out for myself as I pull out pieces of their heart out. I wonder, should deep fry her family's heart and feed it to her, or maybe I should just give it to her raw? Decisions, decisions. She then started skipping like a schoolgirl who just got a kiss from her crush. If you look closely, though, you would notice the cursed seal glowing red. Let us kidnap a council member and her family. This is going to be so much fun. A few miles away, Itachi was racing on the ground as fast as could. He had to make it to Konoha in time. In case you are wondering why he was running in the ground at civilian pace, well, that is because Anko poisoned him. A couple days ago, when he woke up from his solid or pill-induced coma, it was to a sight that he won't forget in a hurry. The couple that had taken them in were scattered across the floor of their small cabin. Anko tasted parts of them with a contemplative look on her face like some high-class food critic. There were black marks across her face and upper body, meaning the cursed seal was free. He was ashamed to say that the sight caused him to throw up and faint. When he woke up a day later, Anko was standing over him with a sweet smile and a cup of tea, all cleaned up so much so that he thought that he simply had a nightmare. The tea was delicious, and it came with a feast for his hungry stomach. After eating and freshening up into a new set of clothes, he decided that he wanted to go outside to have some fresh air. That is before asking Anko what exactly happened during the mission. When all of a sudden he became dizzy and almost fell if Anko hadn't guided him to bed. When he was about to sleep from what he thought was exhaustion. After all, there was no way Anko would poison him. She said something that made his blood freeze up. The couple was just a test. Anko-chan and I are going to Konoha. I need to see those lovely civilians who granted me access to my lovely student. Of course, I will show them my sincere appreciation. Rest well, Itachi-kun. Forcing his eyes open, the last thing he saw was Anko with those black marks across her face and her eyes. They resembled a snake, a deadly snake. That was why he was in such a hurry, because while he didn't fully understand what was going on, he knew that Anko was not in her right mind. He needed to help her before she did something that she would regret later on. That is, if she was still capable of remorse. No, damn it, I can't think like that. Shaking his head, Itachi forced his mind not to go there. He refused to believe that his friend had become a sociopath overnight. She was his friend, and every cell in his body wanted to find her and keep her safe, even if had to protect her from herself. I can't lose her, I simply can't. I don't have anything without her and Sasuke. It is because of her that I actually started to get closer to my little brother. If I can't keep her safe, then how the hell am I supposed to keep Sasuke safe? Kami, I need help. Forcing his chakra to move, he increased his pace. Kami, let me make it in time, please let me make it in time. What he would do after he finds her, he didn't know, he just wanted to find her. He will cross that bridge when he got there. One thing was for sure, though, he will never give up her or the village. There are some good people there after all. Maybe if Anko met some of them, then she would know that not everyone sees her as a stain on the village's honor. One thing left Itachi at a serious loss, though. How did Anko become so bloodthirsty so quickly? He knew about Orochimaru and his experiments. Anko also filled him in on the cursed seal details. How it fed on negative emotions and heightened them. And that it somehow possessed a piece of his soul. How that was possible he didn't know. But only a week had passed, and somehow the restraints that were put around the cursed seal had been broken. In that time frame, it had also taken over Anko's mind. Someone who never wanted anything to do with Orochimaru a week ago, and she didn't even resist. That was what scared him. Anko told him that the cursed seal was held back by both her will and the seal that Jiraiya had put on it, since the cursed seal could not be removed. But now she had given into the seal's influence, meaning the villager's worst nightmare was about to come true. If he did not stop her, then this will go from bad to worse. She would overdo it, get caught, and when that happens, the council will see to it that she is killed. There is no ways that he was going to let that happen, not if he could help it. Back in Konoha. Now before Anko took Saki from her house, she needed to buy some supplies first. So she headed for a weapons store to see an old friend and possibly invite him to the feast later today. Walking in though, she noticed that the store was almost empty. Where did all the customers go? Oh, that means I won't have an audience. Oh well, the show must go on. Hello, anyone here? Asked Anko, who was pleased to hear and I'm coming. So she smirked and waited. Kuro had been expecting a lot of things when he went to answer the door. A couple of genin looking to buy weapons, civilians looking for some extra protection, heck, even a hot girl to flirt with. But what he didn't expect was to find Mitarashi Anko at his doorstep. He went to the academy but he never graduated. That was probably why he didn't notice her mood or the fact that she was leaking Ki. This is why he did what he did. Oi, you, how many times have I told you that your kind is not welcome here? Now leave. Anko smiled savagely. Or what? You don't want to piss me off, little snake bitch, now leave before I throw you out. Naturally, Anko did not like that, but instead of frowning, she started laughing, pissing Kuro off. Some little bitch was making fun of him and he couldn't have that. So he decided to show her just how serious he was. He walked over to her and attempted to grab her and fling her out of his store via the window. Keyword being attempted. Snap. Anko had grabbed his knuckles and pushed his lower arm into his body while making sure that his elbow was bent outward. The result was that the lower bone was now protruding from his elbow and his upper arm was poking out his shoulder. His wrist, on the other hand, was pretty much shattered. Kuro couldn't even scream. His right arm was damaged, possibly beyond repair, and he was losing blood fast. But Anko was not done with him yet. The shock had brought him to his knees. That was when Anko said, "Oh, I'm sorry, here, let me help you," and snapped both bones back into place, causing Kuro to pass out. Anko was then extremely disappointed. "Ah, he is out already? But I was just getting started. I need to make sure that Saki-chan stays awake while I have my fun, but how?" Suddenly she had a thought of a potion that her sensei taught her, which would be perfect. I mean, it may take a few hours to make, but it will be so worth it, and this way Kuro-san can join us. It is perfect. Putting a blood and food pill into Kuro's mouth was a cinch. After which she got the things that she would need from his store and then sealed him into a storage scroll. She then flipped the sign to closed and passed out the back to go to the Forest of Death. She would find the ingredients that she needed for the potion there. It was also the venue for the party. 2 birds, 1 stone. But on the way there she had a thought. Why don't I go pick up Saki-chan and put her in a scroll too along with her family? That way I won't have to go back and forth. Inspired by her idea, she went to get everything that she would need from the village, including a few plates of dango, and sealed all away for later use. However, when she went to get Saki and her family, she was once again disappointed to find out that Saki was the only one at home and time was already wasting. Oh well, I can come back for them later. Who is to say that we can't have 2 parties? With that, she entered Saki's dining room where she was sipping a nice hot cup of tea and knocked her out, and then proceeded to put her into a scroll too. She decided to take a sip of the tea but promptly spits it out. Yuck, that is disgusting. She threw the cup on the floor and sighed deeply at the poor woman's poor taste in tea, and then resumed skipping to the Forest of Death. Now I'm sure you would have guessed by now that putting a living, breathing human being into a substandard storage scroll is a bad idea. For those of you who don't know just why this is such a bad idea, well, let me explain it to you. The human body is constantly in motion, the breaking down of cells and the creation of new ones. This is necessary because human beings are supposed to grow on a cellular level. Now what the storage seal does is that it puts the cells in stasis form so that they can't grow. Even people who go into coma don't have frozen cells, only slow ones, but the fundamentals don't change for them. This means that their body can still function, only it is going to be remarkably slow, that's all. But putting a living human being in total stasis is hell on earth because every cell and nerve, every brain wave or blood circle will be brought to an abrupt halt. The person will be in total darkness until the stasis is removed. Depending on the length of time they were in stasis would determine how banged up they will be. Now, given how long Saki and Kuro will be in stasis, the moment they are released, every nerve and cell will be super sensitive, making every pain and pleasure they feel 10 times worse. Not to mention the headaches and heartburns that they will get from the long stasis period. Anko knew all of this, which was why she was taking her sweet time preparing the potion and the party venue. Warning: it is about to get worse, so again, reader discretion is strongly advised. If you can't stomach it, scroll down to the next notification and read from there. You have been warned. 5 hours later. The preparation for the party was done in grand style. You had everything that you could ever need for a torture party. A table full of sharp and pointy things, hell, even things that were not pointy but definitely painful. Of course, the creme de la creme of everything was the serpent's kiss. To understand the poison better, we must go back to how it came to be. Years ago, before Orochimaru betrayed village, when he was still a loyal shinobi of Leaf, he developed a potion that would make an injured ninja last a lot longer, so that he or she could get medical treatment instead of dying on transit like a lot of them did, especially during the war. The reason it was called the Serpent's Kiss was because it used poisonous plants and actual venom from a very rare snake to increase the insulin and adrenaline in the body. When mixed with a cocktail of blood pills and food pills, the poison became a potion that greatly increased the survival chances that the ninjas had. Of course, Konoha ruined it by demanding more and more, and since the snake that made the poison work was rare, it quickly became endangered. It was the first poison that was actually very sought after, but the cost was too much. So when Orochimaru refused to make more in order to save the snakes, he was treated like a traitor. If not for how important he was, he would have been removed from the shinobi force. Thankfully, they simply couldn't do without him, so the issue was forgotten well by everyone except Sensei. Anko chuckled as she prepared to remove Kuro from the storage scroll. She remembered the other ways that Orochimaru had taught her of how to use the poison. You see, when Cobra's venom is applied to the Serpent's Kiss, it not only keeps the injected person alive, and it also keeps every nerve super sensitive. So if you took the poison and sustained a paper cut, you won't get a sharp and fast pain, you would feel a slow ache that will last for a long time. That wasn't all. When applied, it makes blood stop flowing into that particular area, so no blood loss and no mess. That is what she wanted right now. She went to the table and placed the scroll containing Kuro on top. This one is for you, Sensei. When Kuro landed on top of the table, he immediately started screaming from pain that seemed to envelope his entire body. But a strong Ki stopped his screams and forced him to look up. That when he saw Anko with black marks across her face, eyes glowing yellow, wearing a smile that told him that she was just getting started with him. Please, please, please. I beg of you, please let me go, please. Please swear I will do everything you say, please, oh please, just let me go and I won't tell anyone about this. Anko had a blank face as she stared at him. But what would happen to my party if I let you go? Please, I will do anything, please. Anko placed her index finger on his lips and shushed him up like a concerned mother. Here, let me give you something for the pain. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Kuro thought that the injection she was placing in his arm would actually help, that she had forgiven him. Because after seeing the tools on the table beside him, he did not want to be here at all. He was happy that she had a change of heart. Poor Kuro, right? Anko injected him with the Serpent's Kiss, and then all of a sudden every nerve in his damaged arm exploded with pain, and the pain made him wish for death. I thought you were giving me something for the pain. I did, said Anko with an honest face. That was when she brought a power drill, a screwdriver with a flat head and a very sharp-looking kunai. With an innocent look on her face, she asked, Did you know that there are 27 bones in the human arm? I sure as hell never counted before, but I have always wanted to know for myself and see my luck. You have a hand and I have the tools, so let's make this happen. No, 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 please. Please, Anko used the kunai to remove the bandages from his damaged arm. She slowly removed all the flesh and muscle covering the arm. Thankfully, the poison worked because Kuro wasn't losing that much blood. She looked at Kuro, who was still screaming in surprise. Wow, you have great lungs. But that was only the beginning. Isn't this exciting? Well, I mean, I get to find out for real if we have 27 bones in our arm. Now hold still, this is for science after all. She used the power drill to separate all the joints that she saw and break the bones into pieces. Using the screwdriver, she plucked out all the bones one by one. During all of this, none of Kuro's nerves had been touched, so he could feel everything. By the end of it all, Kuro was fading. Anko wouldn't have any of that though, so she gave him another cocktail of her special drug, only this time in his other arm. I was so clumsy before, but that was good practice. Sorry about your arm, though I will try to make sure that I get it right this time. You see now, instead of using a power drill, I have going to use a pair of scissors. Now I know what you are wondering. How the hell is a pair of scissors going to break bone? Well, that is why I will be adding my fire affinity to them so that the bones will be made softer. Oh, and I wasted too much time removing your flesh last time, so this time I'm going to use acid to make the removal even faster. That is why I gave you a double dose of the serpent's kiss so that you can be awake and alert to it all. Oh my, you have no idea what the serpent's kiss is, do you? Well, why don't I tell you? And that is what she did. She talked to Kuro while she used acid to melt his flesh and a fire-powered scissors to break and pick apart his bones. Just like last time, she avoided his nerves completely. When the whole thing was over, she decided to use all of her instruments to pick Kuro apart. He died not from blood loss or pain, but from having nothing left to live with. Anko had taken a fork and knife to his heart. By the time she was done, she was soaked with blood, and a tiny part of her that was still her was so horrified at what she had become she couldn't even move a muscle. All she could do was beg Orochimaru to stop, but all he said was, "Don't stop the fun," and then he started laughing. This was the scene that Itachi walked in on, and he did not know what to do. The only reason he was able to find Anko in the first place was because he knew her chakra inside out. He had followed it around the village until it led him to the forest of death. He thought that he was prepared for anything, but right now he wondered if Anko was there anymore or if she was really gone for good. Even if she wasn't, how was he supposed to deal with this? Dante, alright, the bad stuff is over. You guys can look now. Have you ever thought you knew someone so well only to wake up one morning and realize that they were not what you thought they were? That even though they look the same and smell the same, all you see when you look at them is someone else? In Itachi's case, it was literally someone else. His shinobi instincts were telling him that Anko had become a problem to the safety of the village. The evidence was the mess on the table in front of her that looked like a person's body parts. He should put her down now, if not because of the crimes that she had committed, then because one of Konoha's top missing nin had completely taken over her body. That was because, according to the facts, she let him do it, and that was considered treason. But how was he supposed to kill Anko, his best friend? The one that mended his relationship with his little brother Sasuke. She was the one that gave him the courage and drive to stop being a puppet for his clan and start being him. How was he supposed to kill her knowing that he would be doing the exact same thing that the villagers had been doing to her since Orochimaru betrayed her? Condemning her without hearing her side of the story. He could paint this any which way that he wanted to, but at the end of the day, he was betraying his best friend. He was giving up on her. Without his consent, tears started falling down his cheeks. He also knew that if he didn't stop her, then she would prove the villagers right. That she was a loyal slave of Orochimaru, hell-bent on destroying the village. They would be able to execute her with her a clear conscience, knowing that they were right. Dear Kami, how could I have let this happen? He didn't know when he dropped on all fours sobbing. He couldn't keep her safe, his best friend. When she needed him the most, he was in a coma, and she was probably so scared and lonely that she didn't even realize when she started to depend on the cursed seal. But how could he save her? How could he do anything but kill her? At least this way she would die at the hands of someone who cares about her. But the thought of killing her was killing him. He knew that if he killed someone whom he had come to love this much, then his entire life would never be the same. But the thought that really broke his heart was, if he could give up on Anko so quickly, then how long will it take him to give up on Sasuke? Would he have to kill his little brother too? Anko heard something behind her, so she turned around. When she saw Itachi on his knees weeping, her heart shattered. The cursed seal, on the other hand, was so happy for the sight. If it could remove Itachi from Anko's life, then she would no doubt give up her humanity. Her body and soul will be its to mold any way it saw fit. Of course, when it was done with the civilian council, it will return to Orochimaru. Together they will plot the destruction of Konohagakure no Sato. What have I done? Thought Anko. Oh Itachi, I'm so sorry. I wasn't strong enough. I was so scared that those people would come get me that when I remembered how much power the cursed seal gives its victims, I couldn't resist the extra protection. Now I know I was foolish. You have always protected me and kept me safe even when you didn't have to. I know that I need to die for what I have done, but please forgive me, please. Rising up his head, Itachi looked at Anko's face. His precious person had been turned into a monster, all because of one man. With that one thought, all of Itachi's agony and grief boiled into white-hot rage. You! The look on Itachi's face startled CS. Cursed seal. So badly that it stumbled backwards in shock. It thought that Itachi would be an easy kill because of the state he was in. Now though he looked ready to kill and with his Sharingan blazing, CS actually felt fear for its life. You took the girl who means the world to me and turned her into a monster with no remorse or guilt. You made her into what the villagers think of her. You have justified their paranoia and stupidity by making her into what she is not. You took advantage of her when she was scared and took over her body. You broke my best friend, and while she doesn't have the will to fight back.
Ido.
The scary part was while he was talking, Itachi didn't raise his voice an inch. But the sheer amount of rage and hatred embedded into his words were enough to force CS to a tree where it was shaking like a leaf. What are you going to do? You wouldn't hurt your best friend, right? Itachi zipped to its location and said, I know that you are in there, and I'm sure you know how skilled the Sharingan is at mind techniques. Please don't hurt me. I am just a messenger. Orochimaru is the one you want. And yet you are the one inside my best friend. You are also the one that has turned her into this thing. Not Orochimaru. You. What are you going to do to me knowing that I am tied to Anko? Anything that happens to me will also happen to her. The knowledge gave the cursed seal some confidence. At least he won't intentionally hurt his best friend, right? But the smile that spread across Itachi's face sent that renewed confidence down the drain. Oh, you have no idea what I can do. Right now Anko's mind is submissive to yours, and my Sharingan can put you in a world of hurt and pain so strong your master is going to need stitches. The best part is Anko's mind is shielded since you're in the driver's seat. Oh, and don't try to switch now, I already have a lock on your mind. So even if you return to the dark recesses of her mind, I will find you. At that point CS started to feel its mind burning slowly and heavily for a minute before it passed. It was enough to tell it that Itachi was serious with his threat, and its fear went through the roof. Itachi was right when he said that his and Orochimaru's mind were linked. If he did not stop Itachi, then Orochimaru would cancel the link, and then all the pain will be its to bear. As it was considering this, it felt a new kind of pain. It felt like someone was taking a toothpick to its eyes. That didn't last for a minute before it felt Orochimaru disconnect his mind from it. At that point it knew it was finished unless it did something. Wait, stop, please, just stop. What do I have to do? Nothing. I am not going to stop until you are nothing but a wasted piece of chakra. I can't remove you from Anko's mind and body, so I will instead focus on damaging you to the point where you will be too weak to even move. I will continue to do this until I find a way to remove you completely. So let's continue, shall we? Wait, 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 you can remove me. Go on. I am just a prototype and I can be removed. All you have to do is destroy the seal. Now it wasn't lying, it was however greatly exaggerating. The only way to kill it and remove it from Anko's body was to destroy the center, aka it. Then the seal will collapse, but destroying the seal would kill both it and Anko, which is what it wanted. I see. What? Itachi smirked. Didn't anyone tell you about the Sharingan's psychic powers? CS lost all color in its face when Itachi said that. Oh no. Oh yes, goodbye now. Itachi used half of his chakra capacity to destroy the center. He watched in amazement as the yellow eyes turned brown and the black marks vanished. He looked as Anko blinked up at him in shock and fear. He knew what she needed to hear. You were my best friend and I care about you. I forgive you. I know what happened on the mission from your memories, and I promise you that I will keep you safe. I just hope that you can forgive me for failing to be there for you this time. Anko was shocked. She grabbed him and sobbed into his shoulders, saying thank you over and over again. Thank you, Kami, I have her. After crying herself to sleep, Itachi created 2 clones. One to return Saki back to her house and report the mission specs to the Hokage, in hopes that Anko gets promoted, and another to report the entire story to Carrie, while he carried her home. When they entered into her apartment, he cleaned her up. Then he had a clone dress her for bed while he took a shower. However, when he took her back from the clone, his other clones dispelled, informing him that the Hokage was pissed. He wanted to see them both tomorrow, and Carrie promised to keep watching Sasuke until this all blows over. He decided to sleep on the couch, but first he needed to put Anko in bed. When he did and tried to remove his hands, she held him in a vice grip. Regardless of how he tried to move, she held him tight, so he decided to lay next to her. Only for Anko to curl up in his arms. The scary part was that he liked it. Is this how friends feel? Shaking his head, he decided he didn't care about the sleeping arrangements. Anko was his friend and nothing else, and with that thought he went to sleep. The next day, Anko had had such a full week. She was nearly killed, was possessed by an evil seal, committed manslaughter and kidnapping. She had the seal that been the bane of her existence removed, and despite the fact that Itachi had every right to hate her or at least never fully trust her again, he didn't. Instead, he forgave her and even asked her to forgive him for not being there for her when she needed him the most. He still loved her. When she heard all that he said to the cursed seal on her behalf, her heart soared and ached at the same time. She woke up that morning to a feeling that she had come to love, safe in Itachi's strong arms. The truth was that she didn't deserve someone like him. He had cured her of a seal that no one else could beat. He had cared for her even after seeing her in her darkest moment. He had defended her, loved her, and as she woke up she noticed that she was clean and in new clothes. Instantly she started crying. She held this angel closer to her, not knowing how to repay him for loving her even when she didn't deserve it. Itachi woke up to the feeling of his chest getting wet. When he came to, he realized that Anko had woken up and she was crying her eyes out. He didn't know what caused it, so he did the only thing he could do: pull her close to him and start stroking her hair. She always loved it when he did that. After a while she calmed down, and he asked her what happened, only to hear something that broke his heart. "I don't think we should keep being friends anymore. I don't think that this is going to work out." Itachi didn't know what to think. He had no clue where this is coming from, but he knew that his heart couldn't take it. "Why? Did I do something wrong?" Anko had to force down the tears that were threatening to break free. She knew that she would cry forever once he left. Even though she was trying to separate him from her, Itachi was still her greatest source of strength. The pain that she could hear in his voice, though, was ripping her to shreds. "No, you did not do anything wrong. I just don't want to be friends with you anymore, okay? Look me in my eyes and say that." Anko knew that if she looked into his perceptive eyes, then he would know that she was lying through her teeth. So she left his arms and, closing her eyes, sat up straight on the bed. "I don't have to do anything. I just want you to leave and never come back. Is that so hard to believe?" "Yes, because I saw your eyes last night, Anko. I know you, and this isn't you." "Well then I guess you don't know me as well as you thought you did. Now please leave." Now he knew something was very wrong. Anko was not polite about anything in her life, so he sat up straight as well and stared at her. He had a hunch as to why she was doing this, but he needed to be sure. He put his arm around her and turned on his Sharingan. Then he slowly started pulling her close to him. She did not resist, almost like she was getting the last bit of comfort that she could before he left. So quickly he put her in between his legs, and she instantly started resisting and forcing her way out, but he held her close. After a few minutes she stopped struggling and started crying into him. "Why won't you go? Please, you will be so much better without me in your life. So what are you still doing here?" Now he knew what was really going on. "I am not a saint, Anko. I have my sins too. I know you're hurt and that you think that I am better off without you, but I am not. I need you in my life, Anko. I don't think I can survive without you. I am not going to let you push me away. Why do you have to be so goddamn stubborn, huh? Can't you see that it is better this way?" "Actually, I can't see. All I can see is the girl I love pushing me away because she doesn't think that she deserves to be happy." "Well, you are wrong. You deserve to be happy, Anko, and I am not going to stop until you are. I don't care what anyone thinks of you or us. I am not leaving you." Anko actually smiled. "The girl you love? You are getting soft, Tachi-chan." She looked at him for the first time that morning, right into those hypnotic red eyes. "I'm never getting rid of you, am I?" Itachi smirked. "Well, you can try, but no, you are not. So the real question is, what are you going to do about it?" Anko smiled and placed her head on his shoulder. "I'm going to stop trying to push the guy I love out of my life." Itachi felt his heart burst from her confession. And then he wrapped his hands around her and placed his cheek on her forehead when she made a comment that made him laugh. I am hungry. After getting dressed and having breakfast, the duo made their way to the Hokage's office. Knocking on the door, they heard a "come in," and when they entered they noticed that it was the Hokage and Carrie that were present. You sent for us, Hokage-sama? Yes, Anko, I did. First of all, I am so sorry for what happened to you. The reason I called you here was that I called a council meeting and I want you to join me. It is time I explained to some people that this is my village, not theirs. Will you come with me? She looked at Itachi and he gave her a nod, so she turned back to the Hokage.
Hai Hokage-sama.
Good, then let's go. When they left, Carrie faced Itachi and smirked mischievously at him. So I see that your girlfriend is okay. Itachi instantly turned a bright shade of red. She's my friend, not my girlfriend. We are too young for that. Oh, so where did you sleep last night? With her in bed. After saying it, he knew that he shouldn't have. It wasn't like that, I swear. So what is it like then? We are friends, nothing more. And yet you guys slept in the same bed, and looking at the two of you, you are comfortable being close to one another. That is what friendship is, isn't it? Carrie shook her head and looked at Itachi. Listen to me, Itachi-kun, I have eyes and I know that there is a strong bond between the two of you, and it isn't friendship. So if you don't want to lose her, you better find out exactly what Anko means to you before she finds someone else. As for your age, you are both shinobi. Age doesn't apply. But promise me that you will think about it, okay? I have to go back to the boys. I will. Good, see you later. At the council room. The council members were getting impatient waiting for the Hokage and were about to start leaving when he walked in, looking very pissed off. When he sat down on his seat, he said, Now I have something to tell all of you. But before that, Nara-san, please enlighten me on what this council is supposed to do. Troublesome, well, the council is supposed to be an advisory body to the Hokage. They are also in charge of some minor parts of the village, thus taking part of the Hokage's workload, freeing him up for more important things. Thank you, Nara-san. Saki-san, please tell me, what is the duties that your side of the council is responsible for? We are in charge of the lives of the civilians. She said it so arrogantly that Hiruzen nearly attacked her. I see. Nara-san, one last question. Can the council falter? Yes. Good, and on that note, Saki, you and the rest of the civilian council are hereby under arrest. What, you can't do that? Ki exploded in the room that sent the civilians to the ground. The god of shinobi was pissed. His rage radiated throughout the room like a violent predator just waiting to strike. Would you care to repeat that? Saki could barely breathe, let alone talk. I am disbanding the council and the elders, and I am creating a brand new one. If anyone has a problem with that, then I invoke the Hokage's challenge. Will anyone challenge my authority? The Hokage's challenge was when a person fights the Hokage. If he wins, then the Hokage would hand over authority for whatever was on the table without resistance. The only person who had a chance against the Hokage in the entire room was Danzo, and even he would have to pull out all stops. So there was no way that he was going to do that. Excellent, because if anyone came forward, I would have killed you. Oh, and side note, Anko Mitarashi is now a Chunin. Council closed. The Sandaime then walked out with Anko, who was starting to realize why they called the Hokage the god of shinobi. Damn, I hope I never piss him off. When they got back to the office, he handed her a Chunin vest. Then he formed a team consisting of her, Itachi, and Kurenai and gave them a month off duty. Things were starting to look up, but Itachi still had a lot of things to think about. Meanwhile, Kakashi was home, a changed man with a new agenda and also a new friend that he couldn't wait to inform the Hokage about. However, when he entered the Hokage's office via the window, he saw how angry he was. He almost left, but the Sandaime turned to face him. After staring into his eyes like a scanner, he smiled. His smile made Kakashi very fearful for his life.
Kakashi kun perfect timing.
Kakashi did not like where the Sandaime's tone was going. It made it seem like he was going to regret setting foot in his office. Damn, I have to have offended somebody up there who is probably laughing at me right now. Although maybe it's not as bad as I think. Why is it perfect timing, Sandaime-sama? I mean, surely I did not come on any important dates, right? The freaky thing was that the Sandame Hokage just kept on grinning like a cat. A very happy cat. No, Kakashi-kun, you didn't come on any important dates. As a matter of fact, nothing special is happening this week. Well, nothing of great importance. Then why does your smile and tone tell me that I just walked into a minefield that is going to blow me sky high, and that there is no way out? It appears your commander was right when he said you have very sharp instincts, and where do you think you're going? At this point, Kakashi was halfway out the window when the Sandame caught him. I was actually on my way to Seaguy. I promised him the second I came back from my leave I would come find him, so that we could engage in some bonding activities to help me regain some of my lost emotions. I could really use a friend right now. Really, Kakashi, you want to hang out with Guy of your own free will? Wow, I'm so proud of you. Smiling, Kakashi put all his effort into jumping out the window only to find himself tied securely to a chair. How? Oh, Kakashi-kun, I thought you were going to see your friend. What happened? He knew he was doomed anyway, but he decided to try his luck one more time. Maybe, just maybe, the Sandame will let him escape. If that happens, then he will make sure never to get stuck in this position ever again. Since his opponent was the professor, his best bet would to move to Kiri. A civil war was preferable to being in this room right now. Well, you see, Sandame-sama, I appear to have gotten myself into a rather precarious situation here. Yes, I can see that. Would you like me to assist you there? After all, one should not waste someone's time. It is quite rude. Kakashi gulped. Maybe you don't have to.
Katon. Gokayu no Jutsu.
A ball of flame grew and reached an inch in front of Kakashi's face. But that was not the worst part, not by a long shot. The worst part was the fact that the fireball shrunk and hovered over a very sensitive place. A place that the sun definitely did not shine. After that, it vanished. Whoops, it seems my aim is a little off. Would you like to try again, perhaps with a different element? Say lightning? Kakashi vigorously shook his head in fear. No thanks, I'm good, I'll just stay here. Oh, okay, well, since you are here, there is actually a little matter that I wanted to discuss with you. That is, if you have the time? Of course, anything you wish to discuss, I am all ears. Excellent, oh right, the rope's here, let me help you with that. Using a kunai, the Hokage cut the entire rope and freed Kakashi. There, that should be much better. How did you ever get into those ropes? Anyway, there is no one in this room aside from us. By pissing off a seriously strong ninja, thank Kami, there are no witnesses, else I would have never heard the end of it. But all jokes aside, this sound really serious. I wonder what could have gone so wrong since I left. We have a serious problem on our hands, Kakashi-kun, and this kind of problem can only be solved with the height of discretion. Before I give you the briefing, I need to know one thing. How do you feel about Naruto? Now, that was a subject that before his vacation he would have known exactly what his stand was. But after getting some sense knocked into him, he was at least willing to give the Kubisari Naruto the benefit of the doubt. First of though, there was something that he wanted to confirm. First of all, Hokage-sama, is Minato and Kushina's son really dead, or is that just a cover-up? Sarutobi's first response was to lie and say yes, the son died, but he felt that if he wanted to get Kakashi on his side completely, he would have to tell him the whole truth. Damn, who knew the truth could be so hard to tell, but it is necessary. If I don't like his response, then Konoha will lose another ANBU captain. An unfortunate incident, but a necessary one. Yes, Minato and Kushina's son is alive. Kakashi would have been enraged, but he already suspected that was the truth. What else are you not telling me? Well, you may not like this, but yes, there are things that I have kept from you. I felt that it would be too much for you to handle, and that you might snap and do something drastic. I know I was stupid back then. I was angry and scared and too much of a coward to accept responsibility and move on, but I'm better now. I promise I can take it. The Sandame took a deep breath and looked deep into Kakashi's eyes. Then, in the blink of an eye, shot forward with a kunai that Kakashi barely blocked and with that same speed returned to his seat. Did that have a point? One thing you will learn as you grow as a shinobi is that you can read a person's heart when you cross blades with them, and I like what I see. Wait, is that something a lot of people know? Well, yes, I suppose it is. Why do you ask? Nothing. So that's how she knew. Alright, well, the whole truth about the Kyuubi's attack is known to only 3 people, me, Kari-san, and Jiraiya. So I'm sure you can guess just what the level of clearance this secret carries and the punishment for anyone that leaks it out. Kakashi immediately sat up straight. Hi Hokage-sama. Good, the first thing you need to know is, the Kyuubi didn't just come out of nowhere, it was released. Please hold your questions till the end. When we first encountered the Kyuubi during the battle between the First and Madara, it was still a fresh entity. The story says that the First used his would release bloodline limit to suppress and thus defeat the mystical beast, but that is not the whole story. The first Hokage found out the hard way. You can't kill a bijou, hell, you can barely suppress it, especially one as powerful as the Kyuubi. Thankfully, the first wife was there with him with an answer on how to solve the big problem. Jinchuriki. Yes, Kakashi, the first Hokage's wife, was a Jinchuriki. The only reason she was able to handle the strain of being the container of the Kyuubi was because she was an Uzumaki. This made us understand that only an Uzumaki can safely handle being the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. However, we couldn't tell the people the truth because of the backlash, so we kept it a secret. That didn't stop what we feared from happening. Other villages turned the other bijus into weapons by locking them inside people. Thus, the shinobi world gained a new elite weapon, but it wasn't without its costs. The new weapons couldn't control the hatred and negative emotions that came with this burden, and so few of them snapped. After that, seals for Jinchuriki got better, but treatment of them got worse, to the point where an innocent child can be treated like the devil incarnate, all because of something he had no say in. But back to Mito-san. She grew old and needed to pass the burden to someone else before she died. That was the reason the Uzumaki heiress was brought to Konoha. Yes, Kakashi, none of the reasons she told you were true. She came to save us, by sacrificing her life and freedom to protect this village. Just like in her predecessor's case, no one knew save a few. But disaster was on its way. The seal on a female Jinchuriki weakens during childbirth. So in order to prevent any slip-ups, Minato, my wife, and a team of trustworthy people were sent to assist in the birthing. But despite our careful planning, someone broke through and assassinated everyone, including my wife, and kidnapped a tired Kushina. Minato couldn't save both her and his son, so he put his son in a safe location and then went for Kushina, but by then it was too late. The Kyuubi was free and the nightmare had begun. After fighting off the person who released the Kyuubi, Minato and Kushina gave their lives to seal the beast into a new vessel, a newborn child not more than a few hours old. Yes, Kakashi, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto is the new Kyuubi Jinchuriki and Minato and Kushina's son. Unfortunately, the sealing couldn't be covered up, and so I was forced to tell the people the truth, hoping that they would honor Minato's wishes and see the boy as a hero. But I think we both know what happened. That Kakashi is the whole truth. In order to protect him, I put up several laws, like the one preventing people from telling their young ones what really happened and instead tell them that the Yondaime gave his life to kill the Kyuubi. But while they didn't tell them, they made their children hate him and despise him, so the law that was supposed to give the young boy a semi-normal childhood ended up ruining his life. The holiday that I put up to honor our fallen comrades became a fox hunting season. That boy has suffered at the hands of this village from the day he was born. Taking a deep, calming breath, the Sandaime sat back to see how Kakashi will take this news, and depending on his response, he will then decide what to do about the young ANBU captain. Kakashi, on the other hand, could not even think. What do you say when you find out that you are directly responsible for the suffering of the son of the people who saved his life? Dear Kami, all this time I have given Naruto such a horrible time for doing two things: being born and saving his village just like his parents. I have failed once again. I couldn't save my parents, I couldn't save Obito, and I was not able to save Rin. I could barely help Sensei, and now I have caused agony to a child I swore to protect with my life. Dear Kami, what have I done? Sarutobi could see the path that Kakashi was walking. It was the same path that he took every time something bad happens, and while he and Minato had agreed that when he gets like that the best thing to do is let him be, he did not have the time for another one of Kakashi's episodes. He needed him to be ready because there was work to be done, and he needed to know his stand. Listen, Kakashi, I know what you are thinking right now, and I know exactly how you feel. How can you, Hokage-sama? How can you know anything about how I feel right now? You did well by Naruto, I did not. While you tried to help. Keyword there is tried, I tried and failed. I put my trust in a traumatized people that I thought could see past their pain and fear. The Sandaime put his elbows on the table, and with tired but determined eyes looked directly at Kakashi. Listen, we have all messed up. You hated Naruto, Jiraiya ran away in guilt and shame. Carrie hid away because she thought that I could handle it by myself, delegating a responsibility that should have been shared. And I played the tired old man and barely did enough for a young boy who desperately needed my help. We all have failed Naruto, but right now I don't need a pity party, and neither does he. I need someone who can look me in the eye, past all the bullshit and diplomacy. I need warriors not in the field but warriors at heart. Because Kakashi, we are at war and we need to be ready. This time our enemies are not just outside. They are in our backyard and they are serious about taking us out. So Kakashi, are you in or not? Bowing his head and closing his eyes, Kakashi focused on hearing everything the Hokage had just said. He understood where the Hokage was coming from, but he did not think that he could do what the man was asking of him. How could he call himself a warrior when he can't do the first thing every warrior is supposed to do? Protect those close to him. He was a bad luck charm, period. Naruto would be better never having anything to do with him. He could always watch him from a distance, but he was not going to do anything. He didn't deserve it. He raised his head with the intention of telling the Hokage his decision when the voice of Obito resounded in his head. Coward. One word was all it took to stop Kakashi in his tracks. It made him remember why Obito was in his head instead of being alive right now. Years ago he was faced with a choice: complete the mission or save his teammate. Without Obito there, he would have completed the mission and left Rin to her fate. After all, saving people at the risk of the mission was what got his father killed. I believe the White Fang was a true hero. It's true. In the shinobi world, someone who breaks the rules and regulations is regarded as scum. But those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. That was the reason he turned around to help the class dead last and his friend. The thought that someone believed his father was a hero instead of a traitor. What will Obito think if he saw what I am about to do? How can I face the boy who befriended me when I wanted to be left alone? The one who gave me his eye for a present. Obito, what will you think? But even as he was asking these questions, he knew exactly what Obito's reply would be. It was for that reason that once again he was going to go against what he believed to be right because of a dead last's opinion. You better appreciate this, and you sure as hell better watch out for me, okay, Obito? I can't do this on my own, so if I have to do this, then I need to know that you have my back. He took the itch in Obito's eye as an answer. All right, buddy, let's do this together. Taking a deep breath, Kakashi raised his head and looked directly into the Hokage's eye with a level of determination that the Sandaime had not seen Kakashi display in a long while. I accept, Hokage-sama, you can count me in. Excellent, Kakashi, it's good to have you on board. Thanks for trusting me, Hokage-sama. I promise I won't let you down. I know you won't. Now we need to get to the real issue at hand. Hi, you said that we have enemies in our backyard, right? Well, who could they possibly be, and do the elders know about this? That is the problem, Kakashi. Our enemies are the elders, the civilian council, the Uchiha clan, and of course my old friend Danzo. With each mention, Kakashi's eyebrow went up and his jaw went down until his eyebrow shot past his headband and his jaw was hanging loosely around his neck. Damn, how do we deal with that? And moreover, how did it get to this level? Because I allowed it. What do you mean, Hokage-sama? Surely you didn't start this? I may not have started it, Kakashi, but I saw it happening and I simply didn't give it the attention it needed. I was scared of rocking the boat. We had just come out of a war and we had just barely survived a bijou attack. The last thing we needed was division among us, but in trying to play the peacemaker, I created the very thing that I was trying to avoid. At that point, I decided to just let it all be because once again I was too worried about diplomacy and popularity, and not about doing the right thing. But I thought diplomacy and politics came with the job? And you will be right when you say that, but there is a time for politics and there is a time for a more cutthroat system. Sometimes you need to cut an arm to save the body, and the Hokage must be able to do just what he needs to do to save the village. But just how did it get to this level? I mean, how the hell did the elders become a threat? Not to mention the Uchiha clan. The mention of the Uchiha clan had Kakashi's full attention because that was Obito's clan and the clan heirs were Obito's cousins. He did not want to think about what will happen if the entire clan became a liability. I mean, that will mean either a civil war or total elimination. He refused to consider either. He will not be able to handle that kind of strain on his conscience. How he will ever be able to face Obito if he couldn't save his clan? Sarutobi lowered his eyes. The QB happened. What does a 10-story-sized fox inside a 5-year-old boy have to do with this? Danzo and the elders are of the opinion that Naruto should be trained into being the village's secret weapon. If Danzo has his way, he will use this new weapon to start a war and dominate the shinobi world, with Konoha as the leading nation. You see, Danzo loves Konoha dearly. That is why the elders are so taken with him. But the main attraction Danzo has is that he is willing to do anything, anything not for the people of Konoha, but for the name and territory, Konoha. He will kill his student and sacrifice his own child. He is of the opinion that shinobis are supposed to not have any emotions, as that will make them liabilities in the field. It is for that reason that he created Root, an organization that answers directly to Danzo and only Danzo. He trained his own ANBU and uses them to do missions that are beneficial to Konoha. But if anyone ever found out, our reputation as a humane village will be destroyed. I let it go on because I felt that stopping him will just be unnecessary. That is until he had spies in my ANBU and started his campaign for Hokage, by presenting me to the elders as a tired old man who has lost his edge. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki simply added fuel to fire. He is desperate to have Naruto under his thumb, after which I won't be surprised if he tries to either kill me or discredit me completely to the entire village. Then he can remove a notion that he considers the bane of his existence, the will of fire. The civilian council has also become a liability. After the Kyuubi attack, the village was in shambles. We had lost so many good people, including my wife. In my grief, I gave the civilian council more power than necessary under the excuse that I needed them to be more efficient. I handed over power to control things that usually came to my desk, and of course by the time Konoha was on the right track towards a better future, they refused to give back their power. I was too much of a coward to demand for it back. All that's good and all, but I fail to see just how the Uchiha clan comes into play here. Well, you know Uchiha Madara and the things that he did, right? Yes, but what does that have to do with this? Everything. The second Hokage relegated the clan. He didn't trust them with anything. When I came into power, I didn't do anything to stop it. I just went with the flow because I had a war to handle. Basically, I had better things to do than the treatment of a clan. When the Kyuubi struck, a lot of people remembered that the first time the Kyuubi was here, an Uchiha was involved. So the Uchiha clan became the prime suspect behind the Kyuubi attack, which was the last straw. But hold up a minute, the clan isn't exactly friendly. Heck, they are the most hated clan in the village, not because of some century-old story, but because they are absolute dicks. They are hateful, arrogant, jealous, and vengeful. Well, you try telling that to a clan with an ego bigger than the Hokage mountain, and abilities that make it easy for them to copy anything they see. So what do you plan on doing about all the problems that you just shared with me? Because from where I'm standing, it doesn't look like there is a way out of this. Well, that's where you are wrong, kid. There is a way out of this. It will require some serious work in order for us to pull it off. And what do you need me to do? This looks like something meant for an official who is not in ANBU, unless we are talking assassinations. No, we are not, at least not yet. The first thing that we need to do is remove at least half of the civilians' power, and also give the Uchiha clan some recognition. That will stroke their egos and give us the time to calm them down. However, none of these new changes can be made by me. Well, not publicly, of course. We are going to also remove the elders from place. That way, with both those set of people gone, we can breathe easier. But first, I want to know just how many people knew about your hatred for Naruto, among the higher-ups, I mean. A few of them knew. In fact, now that I think about it, the Uchiha clan asked me to monitor Naruto and report back to them. I'm going to have to tell them that I am no longer interested in doing that. No, this is exactly what we need to turn this around. Huh? I thought you were trying to help Naruto and the village. How does me hating one and being indifferent to the other help? Because that is exactly what we need you to be. The Sandaime said that with such enthusiasm that Kakashi started to believe he had finally gone senile. There was a running bet in the ANBU HQ about how long it will be before the third becomes senile, and it seemed the day has finally come. You know I can have you arrested for questioning my mental capacities, right? No, I wasn't. I was just thinking about how innovative you have become. Age really is your best color, did you know that? Because I didn't. How the hell did he know? Nice save. Now about the plan. Put yourself in the council's shoes. If someone with the personalities you mentioned became Hokage, what will happen? Ah, I see. It will give them free rein to do as they please because he won't care. Wait a damn minute, you want to make me Hokage? Have you lost your mind? I thought you were willing to do whatever it takes to help Naruto? Well, yes, however there is no way that you can make me Hokage. I can't handle that. Exactly my point. I see, so you have gone senile. Well then let me make this easy for you to understand. I am not going to become Hokage. I won't do it, not for you, not for Naruto, and certainly not because of some crazy plan that you hatched in that loopy head of yours. Are you done? Yes, my answer is no. I won't be making you Hokage permanently just until you implement the laws and rules that I want you to. I will then remove you and announce my joy at seeing the way you left things and how much I will like to keep them that way. In other words, all the laws that you made I can then not only implement but I can fully see them through. But why don't you implement the laws yourself instead of going through the trouble of bringing me into the scene? Simple, I need the council and the elders to let their guard down for a moment, and after the meeting that we had this morning they will be on high alert. If we don't act fast, they will form alliances among themselves with the sole purpose of destroying me so that they can be free to do whatever they want. That is the kind of break that Danzo will be joyous to see happen. A happy Danzo? Now that's a scary thought. If I'm getting this right, you want me to implement laws that you thought of in your place as temporary Hokage. Because it will be easier for the laws to be made if they are made by someone the council believes to be in their best interest. Indeed, it will also go a lot smoother since the elders will not consider you a threat to their plans. Thus, they won't bat an eyelash at you until it is too late. First of, I don't think those people should be batting eyelashes at anyone. Second, where will you be while all this is going on? On vacation, where they will never believe that I was ever a part of this. So let me get this straight, while I am up to my neck in council meetings and paperwork. You will be on a beach somewhere sipping iced tea and enjoying life. Pretty much, yeah. Well, that sucks. Who am I supposed to go to for advice and such? Yourself, so you better pay attention to the plan so that you don't screw it up. For this to work perfectly, it has to be done in a precise order, otherwise minds like Danzo will know something doesn't add up, and the last thing we need is a suspicious Danzo. How do I know all this wasn't just engineered by you to take a vacation? You don't. Perfect, Kakashi sighs deeply. Okay, so what is the plan? Well, don't look so glum. I am not glum. Well, you look glum. Okay, I am glum. Why so glum? Can we stop saying glum? Why so glum, Py? Kakashi groans. You take pleasure in giving me a headache, don't you? I have no idea what you're talking about. Silence. So the plan. Oh, that's right, sorry, got carried away there. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully, okay? The future of the village is riding on this.
I'm listening, Hokage-sama.
Good. The first thing that I want you to do is to know exactly what you should never ever do. Ukai. Never under any circumstances look Danzo in the eye. I don't care what bullshit you have to spew. I don't care how you do it, just make sure to avoid looking Danzo in the eye. Because he will read you like a book and the whole plan goes straight to hell. We only have one shot at this. If you miss, then things will become a whole lot harder for us. So please, above everything else, Hatake Kakashi, don't miss. I won't, Hokage-sama. Good, because you are going to create a whole new system. The first thing that you are going to do is remove the academy from the hands of the civilian council. And so the planning began meanwhile. Oh, Naruto, how did this happen? Laughter filled the entire kitchen. To understand why Sai and Sasuke were on their backs laughing and Carrie was struggling not to join them, let us rewind this back to a few minutes ago. Naruto, Sai and Sasuke had in a rare moment decided to come together and deal with their hungry stomachs. Their grandmother was busy in the study and told them to go prepare something in the kitchen. Thinking that they will have a bowl of cereal or a snack, oh no. The boys wanted to impress their hard-working grandmother by making a fancy lunch. Something similar to what Sasuke's mother makes during one of the family's parties or events. The first problem was noticed almost immediately. What were they going to cook? After some consideration, they decided on making a fried turkey, some fruit juice, and then some ice cream. Simple, no? Well, it is like they say, talk is cheap. Somehow, someway, when Naruto went to pick up the turkey and the fruits that they needed, that is bananas, from the freezer and carry them both to the table. where he and Sai will handle the banana juice because their bachan had taught them how and Sasuke handles the turkey. He had seen his mother do it a lot of times. The bananas ended up on the floor from overloaded arms and Naruto slipped, causing him to cry out, which brought Carrie to the kitchen and scared the boys. So none of them knew how Naruto ended up wearing the turkey on his head and also decorating his new hat with bananas. Ouya, who turned off the lights? Sasuke managed to stop laughing for a second to say, "The turkey. Turkeys don't have legs, team." The sight of a Naruto with a turkey on his head adopting a stern pose was more than Carrie could handle. She joined her grandsons on the floor laughing, leaving a very confused Naruto in her wake. A few minutes later, the turkey was cooking and Naruto was red-faced, wishing the ground would just open up and swallow him. While nobody said anything about the incident, they were smiling, and he knew why. Sasuke made it worse by playing with the lights, trying to see if they were working. It was frustrating to say the least. If it was someone else he wouldn't mind laughing, but it was not someone else. How could he be a ninja if he lost to a turkey? It was ridiculous, so since he couldn't say anything without embarrassing himself the more, he settled on glaring at Sasuke. That is until Carrie asked him to follow her while Sai and Sasuke watched the turkey. When they got to Carrie's bedroom, she instructed him to follow her into the bathroom, where she gave him a thorough scrubbing. While he was of course in typical Naruto fashion kicking and screaming the whole way down, but she didn't pay any mind to him. After the bath, she changed his clothes and sat him in her laps while she rested her back on the bed's backboard. Smiling down at him in the way only your grandmother ever could, Naruto found himself calming down and subconsciously leaning in, until his head was rested on her and her arms were wrapped around him,